WWE Survivor Series, the battle for brand supremacy between Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, not including, of course, WWE NXT 2.0 because they have absolutely killed what we once knew as the yellow brand for the WWE. May NXT rest in peace. Yes, I am watching WWE Survivor Series, about to at least, coming up here shortly, live right here on YouTube, and thanks for tuning in and listening on a delay from last night due to college football and the NFL from this past weekend. And that's where we're going to begin. We're going to start off with recapping college football and the NFL from this past weekend, along with previewing next week as well. Discuss a little All Elite Wrestling as well with AEW Full Gear, as that was a week from this past Saturday. As I did not get a chance to sit down and record a recap, so we're going to add that into this Survivor Series live watch along reaction live right here on YouTube. It'll be, of course, our main topic, WWE Survivor Series. We'll get to that here momentarily, but before we begin, it's going to be college football and NFL talk for a little bit, and then some AEW. Of course, look ahead to the future, see what's on the slate over the next few weeks or so into the new year. As always, start off, just want to say thank you for tuning in and listening. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below with that thumbs up button. Share hashtag college football, hashtag NFL, hashtag wrestling, hashtag pro wrestling, hashtag AEW, hashtag WWE, hashtag Survivor Series. We'll also have on some college basketball and Monday Night Football here this evening as well. WWE Survivor Series was last night from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, celebrating the Rock's 25th anniversary of his WWE debut. I have tried my best to stay off of social media. I have no idea, just as it was about a month or so ago for WWE Crown Jewel, watching that on a about 8-hour delay. This is about 24 hours, but I have no idea what the hell happened last night. But I can probably guarantee you that he didn't show up, because there was some talk that even with it being The Rock's 25th anniversary, that, okay, he might be there, but he probably won't be because, of course, with his acting career. And I believe he's overseas somewhere. He might even be down under in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. But for Survivor Series, of course, it's battle for brand supremacy. It's champion versus champion, with no title changes. For the most part, as it always goes. It's just whoever's the WWE champion will face off versus, for the most part, as of late, the Universal Champion. That's Big E and Roman Reigns. It's champion versus champion. It's the main champions facing off in the men's and the women's division, along with the mid-card and in the tag team division as well. They actually added in a battle royal, if I'm not mistaken, as well. We'll see who the hell's involved in that. A 25-man dual-branded Survivor Series battle royal between Raw and SmackDown superstars for the Rock's 25th anniversary. So we'll see what the main event is. It'll probably end up being Roman Reigns and Big E, and rightfully so. But as of late, over the past, month or so, after the draft and Crown Jewel, respectively, now here into November, of course, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair have a ongoing heated rivalry. So that very well could main event as well. Whatever doesn't will probably kick off the show, or as always be the co-main event of the night, and have the best two matches go on last. But you're always going to have something, kickstart the show off in full gear, if you will, and get the crowd into it. So a total of 7 matches, if I'm not mistaken. As mentioned, champion versus champion singles matches, basically, in the heavyweight division, in the men's and women's divisions, their side of things, respectively, with Big E and Roman Reigns. You'll have Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair as well, along with the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships head-to-head with Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura as your United States Intercontinental Champions as well. But you can't forget about the 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination matches either. As Survivor Series, I believe, is in its 35th, 36th year. Survivor Series is one of the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views, if you will, for the WWE. Has been ongoing as, for the most part, as long as WrestleMania has been on, and they're going into 38 come April. And with Survivor Series night, actually, well, last night, and I'm watching it tonight on a delay, on replay here on the WWE Network on Peacock. Once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. This will be the final pay-per-view of the year. They'll have no December pay-per-view. Next month, they'll have a New Year's Day pay-per-view, though, on January the 1st in the ATL for WWE Day 1, a new pay-per-view for the start of 2022. Royal Rumble at the end of the month, then on the road to WrestleMania. Next year, WWE is going to have a few Saturday and Sunday pay-per-views, respectively. So we'll see how the schedule shakes out from now until then, but I can probably guarantee you this will be my last, with, of course, still being football season, wrestling live watch along reaction stream from now until the end of the year. Maybe a few, around Christmas time into the new year, but then, getting off of AEW Full Gear there a week and a half ago now, Survivor Series now. AEW is going to have Winter is Coming mid-December. They'll have a New Year's Smash. And then WWE Day 1. AEW is going to move Dynamite to TBS Rampage. Still going to be on TNT, respectively, on Friday nights at 10 o'clock after SmackDown. But that'll be into the new year as well. And from now until then, of course, just be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That's the easiest way to update is, in fact, on social media. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below, and we'll get into Survivor Series here in a minute, along with, as mentioned, recapping AEW Full Gear from last Saturday as well. As AEW had, of course, their first show for Dynamite and Rampage following the pay-per-view last week. They'll have a Thanksgiving Dynamite this Wednesday in Chicago, and then a Black Friday Rampage on a tape delay, of course, this upcoming Friday now as well. I myself, of course, have had the honor to attend a few AEW and WWE shows since both companies returned to the road back in the middle of the summer. Be sure, as always, to go check out those videos live right here on the channel. Preview, discuss a few of those to an extent, I suppose, right now. Just be sure to go check them out. They're right here on the channel. Not that hard to miss. Go to the wrestling live event playlist, and you'll find them right there. But the first one back for myself, it was a WWE TV. It was SmackDown the week after Money in the Bank. And that night, we had Friday Night SmackDown building towards SummerSlam. One of the main feuds, minus, of course, Roman Reigns and the returning John Cena, was in fact Seth Rollins and Edge, as there's an incident that very night. Seth Rollins interrupted Edge before Edge acted as if he was wiping his own ass with Seth Rollins' jacket, which was pretty funny. So be sure to go check out that video. Saw the new Mr. Money in the Bank in Big E before he cashed in. Right as football season began, actually, back 2.5 months ago or so now, mid-September, on Bobby Lashley to become WWE Champion. And now, of course, Survivor Series here, he is up against the big dog, Roman Reigns, who is now King of SmackDown as your Universal Champion. But seen, of course, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee a few times. Dark matches before, dark matches afterwards. Of course, John Cena returning as well. But there was a full dark match from that show afterwards with the Bloodline. It would have been Roman Reigns and Usos taking on Cena and the Mysterios. But to close out that SmackDown, Finn Balor interrupted and challenged Reigns for the Universal Championship. And then they sort of had that match, if everybody can recall, before SummerSlam, but then they didn't, of course, because Cena ended up just signing the contract. They had the match at SummerSlam, Reigns won. And then Extreme Rules 2 months ago now, they had that match with Reigns and Balor with the Demon returning. So, of course, saw all that. Was actually at the Go Home SmackDown as well before Extreme Rules. So saw the Demon return then and take out everyone ringside to close out the show before, unfortunately, lost a few nights later. House show as well. Caught Matt Riddle's flip-flop. That was interesting. It's front row. And I wasn't expecting to catch Matt Riddle's flip-flop while recording his entrance. So, yeah, be sure to go check out that video. As bro, I caught Matt Riddle's flip-flop. I don't know how I did, but unfortunately I had to give it back. I wish I got to keep it. Still have it, but I don't. He wanted it back, so I had to give it back. So, Matt Riddle, if you're out there listening, I want one of your 2 flip-flops back from when I caught it at a house show this past summer after the return to the road. But then after that, well, there was a full match as well with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which was a banger. I saw AEW with Dynamite and the first ever Rampage before CM Punk returned a week later to the world of professional wrestling. Of course, Dark and Dark Elevation as well. And then, of course, into the fall with football season beginning. Still attended a few events, but and I probably attended more than I should have, but at the same time, it's hit or miss sometimes, for myself at least, when they hit my area, and it's like, well, if you don't go, you're going to miss out, and it's like, well, you sort of got to go then at that point. So I know for certain right now, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a gap because I haven't been to an event in about a month or so, and it's going to be like that for a few more months, probably February, March. But be sure, of course, at that point in time, keep an eye out for those videos whenever they are, in fact, published live right here on the YouTube channel. So seeing AEW again, saw them once before COVID, was pretty interesting, and more so than not, the first ever Rampage. Of course, yeah, it was a week before Punk returned, but the first ever Rampage, so that's history in the making, if you will. Saw AEW again, actually, about 2 months after that, about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago now, for the AEW anniversary. That was a great night. That was arguably, with the 3 AEW shows I've been to, the best of the 3, probably in reverse order from recent to the first one I ever went to for Dynamites at least. Well, actually, no, I take that back. The AW Anniversary Dynamite I saw was the best AW show I've been to. Because I've only been to 3. Because I've only hit my area a few times. And then the first ever Dynamite, that was 2 on the list, I guess you could say. And then the one in the middle, when they returned and first ever Rampage, that Rampage was better than Dynamite that week, I thought. But then it got better, of course, because Punk returned, and then, okay, he just picked up a win at Full Gear, and we'll get to that here in a second. But, yeah, I have no idea where I'm going with all this, but I just, of course, wanted to say, be sure to go check out all these videos. I mean, I've been to, total in my lifetime, I don't know, 25, 30 of them. I believe all the videos from all the events I've ever attended are right here on the channel. So everything I'm speaking, it's live. Be sure to go check it out. You'll see firsthand what I experienced in person, if, of course, you've never been to an event, or if you just want to relive some memories, if you're also there, of course. But, yeah, that was, what, August for Dynamite and Rampage. And then this is before Extreme Rules now, okay. That's when the Demon returned before he lost to Reigns at Extreme Rules. Saw the WWE draft for the first time ever this year as well. That was a pretty good night, it was. They've been running the same dark matches post SmackDown with the Bloodline, and whether it be Cena and the Mysterios, or Finn Balor and the Mysterios, or even now McIntyre and the Street Profits, it's Reigns and the Bloodline always losing, and Reigns never takes the pin. And you'll see that firsthand. So the WWE Draft, so the AW Anniversary show, a couple weeks, well, a little over a month or so ago now. That was a pretty good night. That was when Hangman Adam Page returned and won the Casino Battle Royal ladder match before he just defeated Kenny Omega, spoiler for anybody who didn't know, and became the AEW World Heavyweight Champion at Full Gear last weekend. So that was, as mentioned, a good show. Best of the 3 I've been to for AEW. But then the one video I want to talk about, I saved best for last year because it's most recent as well. This was a Halloween-themed SmackDown, if you will. It was after they went off the air. Reigns, it was the first time he wasn't on SmackDown in forever. I believe the first time since he returned a year and a half ago at SummerSlam, and then won the Universal title at Payback a week later and hasn't lost since. I believe the SmackDown a month ago, Halloween weekend, the first show he wasn't on, which was SmackDown. Well, at that point in time last month, he was on Raw and SmackDown. They're hyping up Crown Jewel and, Survivor Series now. But afterwards, Paul Heyman tagged into the dark match. So be sure to go check out that video. And that's all I'll say about that. Paul Heyman tagged into the dark match with Roman Reigns and the Usos, the Bloodline, taking on Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits. Paul Heyman tagged into the match and got involved with Reigns, the Usos, Drew McIntyre, and Street Profits. It was hilarious. It was pretty funny. So Paul Heyman tagged in. Wasn't expecting that. And that had everyone talking. But, be sure to go check out those videos. Like I said, I really don't know where I was going with that. I just, of course, with the return to pro wrestling in 2021, live, touring, on the road, no more virtual Thunderdome, no more, no fans in attendance for whatever company. I know, AEW started to bring fans back last August, and then, they worked their way back up to full capacity, but then they were still in Jacksonville for that whole point in time. Now they're back on the road as well. WWE is too, and just as mentioned, had the honor to attend a few events. So I just want to say, be sure to check out those videos if you haven't done so already. Now you know. Be sure to go check them out. And those are just some of the highlighted ones from this recent run that I've been on with attending pro wrestling events live in living color. But there's plenty more pre-COVID. Um, so be sure to go check out those as well. Unfortunately, in the meantime, as we'll get to Survivor Series here in a second, Ring of Honor has since gone out of business. If anybody did not know, which is very sucky. They have said they're going to try to get back to it in the springtime sometime, but I highly doubt that'll happen because they've already lost one of their key pieces in Jay Lethal, as he came out towards the end of Full Gear and announced he had signed with All Elite Wrestling. And then, what was it, last week he challenged Guevara for the TNT title before losing in the main event. Yeah, that was last week on Dynamite. As they were in the 757, Hangman Adam Page country, celebrating his championship win as well. As mentioned, he defeated Kenny Omega to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But we'll get into previewing Survivor Series here in a second, discussing what happened at Full Gear, and then we'll watch live in full from start to finish Survivor Series here tonight. So stay tuned. But as mentioned, we're going to begin following the recent discussion of what I just talked about, with being sure to go check out those videos over the past 15, 20 minutes or so now. It's been from the events I've attended as of late. So once again, be sure to go check those out. Thank you once again for tuning in, though. Right now, thumbs up button, share if you're enjoying, subscribe as well so you can return and enjoy more content. But we're going to start with college football and the NFL, recap this past weekend, preview next week, and then talk AEW Full Gear, and then get into Survivor Series. So stay tuned. But college football, the next last weekend of the regular season, arguably I thought was the second best weekend of the season thus far, with the first only about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. It was early November. We had a lot of close back and forth battles this past weekend in college football. Not as many upsets as there was, a couple weeks ago. But it's been one of those seasons. It's like, you just don't know what the hell is going to happen. But that's why the games, as always, played. It's not decided on paper, it's decided on the field. Yeah, I thought this past weekend was damn good once again. It began last week with some action on Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively, as Toledo defeated Ohio 35-23. Eastern Michigan defeated Western Michigan by a point, 22-21. The MAC now has the most 1-point wins in a single season this year in college football history among all the other conferences, and they're a non-Power 5. But same point in time, when schools aren't as big, you're going to get the players that aren't going elsewhere. No offense, but that's the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth is the truth, as Matt Hardy would say. For the most part, all these teams are going to be pretty evenly balanced across the board, and it's always going to come down to wire. Yeah, every once in a while you'll have a good team high in the rankings and making a run at it, but still not going to get anywhere. They might finish undefeated by any means, but probably the most recent out of the MAC that actually did something would have had to have been Western Michigan when PJ Fleck was there before he left for Minnesota, and he just signed an extension to stay in the Twin Cities. But that's just, an interesting tidbit, I thought, interesting stat. They have the most 1-point wins this year among any of the other conferences in college football. So Eastern Michigan defeated Western Michigan 22-21. Miami, Ohio beat Bowling Green 34-7. And then last Wednesday, same night as Dynamite, for AW following full year. Northern Illinois defeated Buffalo 33-27 in overtime. They ran one play after Buffalo went 3 and out, 1st and 10 from the 25, and the Huskies scored a touchdown, and they won it on the road in upstate Western New York against the Bulls, 33-27 in OT. And talk about Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan on Tuesday night last week, 22-21 win for the Eagles. Central Michigan, Chippewas, beat Ball State 37-17. Last Thursday in the ACC, Louisville 62-22 winners at Duke. Last Friday, 35-19 winners for Southern Miss over Louisiana Tech. Houston 31-13 win at home over the Memphis Tigers. Houston will now play Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference Championship game a week from Saturday, as we'll have one final weekend this week, kind of like a college football rivalry weekend. We'll preview that here in a second, but then it's Conference Championship weekend, and then the College Football Playoff and the bowl games will be revealed as we'll get into the bowl season here over the next few weeks or so into December towards the holiday, as Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Hopefully everyone has a happy and safe Thanksgiving, and then a Merry Christmas a month from then, and then also a Happy New Year. But also, this past Friday in the Pac-12 after dark, in a foggy Pacific Northwest, Washington State defeated Arizona 44-18. In triple overtime, Air Force went to Nevada and won 41-39. San Diego State 28-20 over UNLV from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. And then on Saturday, Georgia and Ohio State both won by 49. Georgia 56-7 over Charleston Southern, and Ohio State defeated Michigan State by the same exact score of 56-7 in a top 8 battle in the big one from the shoe in the Big Ten this past week. The game with Ohio State Michigan on Saturday, winner to the Big Ten championship game to represent the East Division. Clemson upset number 10 Wake Forest 48-27. Oklahoma hung on at home in the Big 12, defeated Iowa State by 7, 28-21. Texas A&M defeated Prairie View A&M 52-3. Mississippi State 55-10 over Tennessee State, and Kentucky 56-16 winners over New Mexico State, as the SEC for the most part. A few teams had a few tough games, but everybody else had a tune-up into the final week of the regular season for rivalry weekend coming up here shortly. Western Kentucky 52-17 over Florida Atlantic. Florida State by 3 on the road from Chestnut Hill, defeating Boston College 26-23. North Carolina 34-14 over Wofford. Purdue and Northwestern played from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, and the Boilermakers defeated the Wildcats 32-14. Penn State, their second shutout of the season, first time ever in program history that the blue and white Penn State Lions have shut out in a single season 2 Big Ten opponents. Shut out Indiana 24-0 early October. Saturday before Thanksgiving, they shut out Rutgers as well, 28-0. Army 33-17 winners over UMass. West Virginia handed Texas another loss. Hook 'em, horns down, as the Mountaineers win 31-23. Tulane 45-14 winners over South Florida. Kent State blanked Akron. They shut out the Zips 38-0. Coastal Carolina 35-21 winners as well over Texas Tech. Iowa defeated a Brett Bielema-less Illinois Fighting Illini team, as he did not coach because of COVID. Hawkeyes by 10, 33-23. Georgia State won by 8 against Arkansas State, 28-20. Notre Dame shut out Georgia Tech, 55-0. Colorado 20-17 over Washington. Alabama hung on at home against the Hogs of Arkansas, 42-35, as the Tide will now roll onto the Plains to take on Auburn, but they've already won the SEC West. Georgia's already won the SEC East. They'll meet in the SEC championship game a week from Saturday. Michigan 59-18 winners at Maryland. Wisconsin defeated Nebraska after a questionable no call on a potential pass interference at the goal line as time expired. Badgers by 7, 35-28 over the Cornhuskers. Pitt winning the ACC Coastal. They'll be in the ACC championship game under Pat Narduzzi with a 10-point home win against Virginia, 48-38. Their opponent still to be determined. It very well could be Wake Forest still, who would have thought that? But it might turn into a rematch with the Clemson Tigers on a neutral site. But NC State also still in the mix as well. So both Clemson and NC State are going to have to win, and then Wake Forest would have to lose. And then, of course, tiebreakers will play into it with head-to-heads. But Pitt's in the ACC championship game, and congrats to the Panthers. They've played, and this comes from a Penn State fan, they've played some damn good football this year. And point in time, they should have been undefeated until they lost to Miami. They lost to the Canes by 4 a week after they beat Clemson. So a little bit of a hangover. But you go back non-conference back in September, Pitt should have beat Western Michigan. They lost by 3. So, a 3 and a 4-point loss to sit at 9-2. But you're still in the ACC championship game. And if you win that, you're going to be going to New Year's 6 for the most part. And where Pitt football has been as of late, not the Steelers, but the Pitt Panthers in college football at that rank of level, Pitt's had a damn good season. So congrats to Pitt. They defeated Virginia 48-38. University of Texas San Antonio won on the last play of the game as time expired over UAB 34-31. Marshall 49-28 winners over Charlotte. Old Dominion 24-17, over Middle Tennessee State. Minnesota 35-14 defeating Indiana. Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, and Purdue all in contention for the Big Ten West, and the winner between Ohio State and Michigan will represent the East. So still a lot to figure out. There's still a lot of football left to be played this weekend before, of course, the conference championship games, college football playoff being revealed for the final time for the semis of the Cotton and Orange Bowl, respectively, and then the national championship game along with the rest of the bowl season as well. But also this past week, East Carolina defeated Navy 38-35. App State 45-7 winners over Troy. Cincinnati put it to SMU 48-14 in a statement win. But they might stay at 5 tomorrow night. I mean, I would think they'll jump to 4 after Oregon's loss at Utah. Georgia's going to be 1. Alabama's going to be 2. Ohio State's going to be 3. And then the question's going to be with Michigan with a big road win at Maryland, and then you have, well, it's either going to be a top 5 or a top 6 showdown. Well, it will be a top 5 showdown with Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan's 6 right now, that's why I said that. I'm thinking a little too far back, but looking ahead here, it's going to be a top 5 showdown with the game on Saturday with Ohio State and Michigan with the Buckeyes and Wolverines. Ohio State's going to be 3. Georgia and Alabama, respectively, are going to be ahead of them at 1-2. Ohio State 3. Question is, Cincinnati at 4 or Michigan at 4? So it's either going to be a top 4 or top 5 showdown. Between 3 and 4, 3 and 5. But Cincinnati, I mean, they're going to be in the AAC Conference Championship game, and if they can win out and beat Houston, who's ranked right now as well, one of those two teams with Ohio State and Michigan already having one loss, another loss is going to take them out for sure. There's a few teams sitting behind them right now that, okay, they might jump, but I doubt it. They shouldn't. You just never know how the committee's going to rank with how they've ranked college football playoff this year. But, and even more so than not in the past since 2014. But I feel Cincinnati, if they win out, as they are now 11-0. They, this upcoming weekend, play at East Carolina on Black Friday. And to go on the road and beat a 7-4 Pirate team, I mean, to get to undefeated, to close out the regular season at 12-0, and then also win your conference championship and be a top 25 team in the process of doing so. Even with, question comes down to it too, okay, Georgia's been one all year. If they lose to Bama, well, both teams are probably going to be in, regardless, unless somebody gets blown out. Regardless of the outcome, how close it is, unless somebody gets blown out, though. But if Georgia wins, Alabama's out because they have 2 losses. And then Cincinnati's in for sure. I feel Cincinnati should be in to begin with, because there's going to be a few teams that are going to, with head-to-head wins and losses, taken out of the equation. So yeah, my top 5 right now for college football for the playoff that will be revealed for the third to last time tomorrow, and then the next to last time next week, and then for the final time on December the 5th. That's when we'll find out the semis. Georgia's 1, Alabama's 2, Ohio State's 3, Cincinnati's 4, and then Michigan's 5. And then may the best team win between Ohio State and Michigan. And for the sake of the Big Ten, I'd hope they'd also win the Big Ten championship game and make the college football playoff again. Well, that'd be for Ohio State and Michigan, of course, making the playoff for the first time then at that point under Jim Harbaugh. But may the best team win on Saturday. We'll see. But, you know, Cincinnati's been playing some damn good football, and they get a statement win against SMU, 48-14. BYU beat Georgia Southern 34-17. NC State 41-17 as well against the Orangemen of Syracuse. In overtime, in what ended up being Dan Mullen's last game as the Florida Gator head coach, the Missouri Tigers win as they went for 2 in OT and got it and won the game 24-23. Dan Mullen then fired yesterday morning, as now Florida joins the list along with USC, LSU, TCU, Virginia Tech, Washington State as your main openings for the college football coaching carousel that is about to heat up around this time next week following the conclusion of the regular season this upcoming weekend. Rice and UTEP, the Miners, over the Owls by 10, 38-10, or 38-28, excuse me, a 10-point victory. UCF 49-17 over the Yukon Huskies. Louisiana Lafayette 42-14 over Liberty. TCU won by 3 over Kansas 31-28. Tulsa, living on Tulsa time, 44-10 win at home against Temple Owls. In the Battle of LA, UCLA defeated USC 62-33. Baylor won by 10 on the road from the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas, 20-10 over K-State. South Carolina came back and beat Auburn at home, 21-17. They are now bowl eligible. North Texas, 49-7 over Florida International. The band is on the field. Cal defeated Stanford 41-11. Stanford having a very bad down year, now sitting at 3-8 before hosting Notre Dame on Saturday. They could play spoilers to the Golden Domers, as they're right on the outside of that college football playoff once again right now. So how the game shakes out. But also in the Pac-12, Utah 38-7, a blowout win. They're up 28-0 at halftime with a punt return for a score to close up the first half. Actually, 38-7 Utes over the Ducks, as it was Duck season from Salt Lake City. Ole Miss defeated Vandy 31-17. Tennessee put up 60 on South Alabama, 60-14. Miami 38-26 win from South Beach in the rain over Virginia Tech, 38-26. Oklahoma State shut out Texas Tech. A lot of shutouts now that I read down through this list. this past week in college football, along with another, Boise State blanking New Mexico 37-0, but Oklahoma State in the Big 12 23-0 win at Lubbock against the Red Raiders. Wyoming 44-17 win over Utah State. And then LSU in Ed Orgeron's next last home game as the Go Tigers head coach. They'll host A&M on Saturday. But LSU defeated Louisiana Monroe on the Bayou, 27-14 win for the Tigers. Boise State, as mentioned, 37-0 over New Mexico, as the Lobos will head back to Albuquerque. And then Oregon State, 24-10 over Arizona State. Oregon State, they're playing some damn good football right now. Them and Oregon, the Civil War this week, that would be a damn good game Saturday afternoon. I know how that on. Well, we'll get to that in a second. And then Hawaii won by 5 on the islands against Colorado State, 50-45. Now a preview for this upcoming week in college football. Of course, yeah, a little behind schedule right now, but wanted to, of course, get this in before we watch Survivor Series now from last night. But currently, if you're just not tuning in, recapping and previewing college football in the NFL and AW Full Gear as well. But I'll have live watch-along reactions this upcoming weekend as well. College football, Penn State, Michigan State, NFL on Thursday with the Raiders and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And then next Sunday, Steelers, Bengals, and Rams, Packers. We'll see about next Monday night with the Seahawks and Skins, the new Washington football team, if you will, on Monday Night Football with WWE Monday Night Raw. That is, in the meantime, tonight officially underway, but I don't have it on because I have, once again, still no idea what the hell happened last night's Survivor Series, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It's currently taping, recording it on the DVR. I'll watch it tomorrow probably. And then we'll get into, of course, as mentioned earlier, with the upcoming schedule, no December pay-per-view for the WWE, but they'll have a day one on January 1, New Year's Day, from Hotlanta to begin 2022. But I'll digress on that topic for the time being, but that's where we're at right now. Thank you once again for tuning in and listening. But now, next week in college football, actually will begin tomorrow night. We'll take our planes, trains, and automobiles to the MAC with some Tuesday Maction on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. If you know, you know. Buffalo, Ball State, Western Michigan, Northern Illinois. Winners will receive the MAC Shower Curtain Ring Championship. Buffalo, Ball State, Western Michigan, Northern Illinois. And then on Thanksgiving, Fresno State, San Jose State, and then we'll head to Muddy, Mississippi for the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Best game on Black Friday, in my opinion, is at noon on CBS. It's Boise State, San Diego State. Kansas State also plays Texas. Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Ohio, and Bowling Green. Utah State, New Mexico. Nebraska is going to be without their starting quarterback and Adrian Martinez, rolled out earlier today, will not play against the Iowa Hawkeyes in a corn battle from the Heartland. That'll be a 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 local kick from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln on the Big Ten Network. Iowa, they, of course, yes, are still in contention for the Big Ten West in a must-win scenario against their rival in Go Big Red. But as mentioned just a minute ago, it's coming down to Wisconsin, Iowa, who they beat, along with Minnesota and Purdue. So we'll see how the games shake out. But it's going to be the winner between Ohio State, Michigan, and I would think Wisconsin. But there's been crazier shit that's happened before. So we'll see what the hell does in fact happen. Something, as always, will give. Something's got to give. UTEP, UAB, Cincinnati, East Carolina, Mizzou, and Arkansas. South Florida, USF, South Florida, and Central Florida, UCF. And then Coastal Carolina, South Alabama, along with UNLV, Air Force, Colorado, Utah. Two teams, of course, that joined the Pac-12 about a decade ago already. Hard to believe. Time sure as hell does fly. TCU, Iowa State, with the Horned Frogs needing a win to become bowl eligible. North Carolina and NC State, along with the Apple Cup of Washington State and Washington. Next Saturday, we'll have Georgia and Georgia Tech, along with the game of Ohio State, Michigan, Wake Forest, Boston College, Texas Tech, Baylor. 10-1 Houston will take on 1-10 UConn. Florida State and Florida, both teams needing a win to become bowl eligible. So whoever the hell loses won't be going bowling. And Florida just fired Dan Mullen, so they'll have an interim. They're in the sweepstakes now for a new head coach. We'll see who they hire along with everyone else. But the Seminoles and Gators, both at 5-6, should be a good game because it's a rivalry game, and there's always a thing or two that happens when they play. There's some bad blood from Tallahassee to Gainesville. But, of course, that's what rivalry becomes all about. You hate each other, and then you settle it on the field. So Florida State, Florida, Maryland, Rutgers, both teams, same situation there. Both 5-6, both needing wins to become bowl eligible. So a lot on the line, a lot to play for this week for a lot of teams, no doubt about it. Army and Liberty, Navy and Temple, Miami, Ohio, Kent State. Akron will play at Toledo. Miami and Duke, Louisiana Tech and Rice. The University of Texas San Antonio will try to get to 12-0 as they play at North Texas. Charlotte, Old Dominion, Texas State, Arkansas State, Troy, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, App State, along with Florida International and Southern Miss. UMass and New Mexico State should be a shit show. Hawaii, Wyoming, the Iron Bowl of Alabama, Auburn, the Civil War of Oregon State and Oregon, the battle for the land-grant trophy as well with Penn State and Michigan State. I'll have live watch-along reactions of the Nittany Lions and Spartans, along with, we will also have on Alabama, Auburn, Oregon State, Oregon, and see what other games on at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Probably either Virginia Tech, Virginia, or Wisconsin, Minnesota. Texas A&M at LSU Saturday night from Death Valley. We also have Western Kentucky, Marshall, Northwestern Illinois in the land of Lincoln, Indiana, Purdue, Vandy, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Virginia as mentioned, along with Wisconsin and Minnesota for Paul Bunny and Zach's, Tulsa, SMU, Louisiana Monroe, Louisiana Lafayette, Arizona, Arizona State. There's some bad blood between those two schools as well. A&M, LSU, Middle Tennessee State, Florida Atlantic, West Virginia, Kansas, Bedlam. Talk about bad blood. The Sooners and Cowboys, Saturday Night Football on ABC from Stillwater. Pitt, Syracuse, Kentucky, Louisville. I'm sure somebody's going to be smoking some grass from the Bluegrass State during that game. That'll be Saturday night from KFC City. The Palmetto Bowl, Clemson and South Carolina. Tulane, Memphis, Notre Dame heading out to Stanford. Play on the farm. As I mentioned earlier, Stanford can play spoilers to the Fighting Irish this season. Their one loss at home to Cincy, who, of course, is ranked ahead of them. And rightfully so, because the head-to-head should matter. But to some extent it doesn't. But then you go back to the game, and it's like, what the hell was the point of playing this game then? But yeah, Notre Dame's once again right on the outside looking in. I doubt they'll get in, but there's some talk right now that, if this happens or that happens, and if they win out, they're not going to be playing for a conference championship, and that's what's going to hurt them this year. They did last year and they lost, but they've made the playoff without playing a conference championship game in the past before too. So we'll see what gives. I'm sure something will. But that's Saturday night. Nevada, Colorado State, Cal, UCLA, and then BYU plays at USC as well. Now the NFL, as we're underway on Monday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the Big Blue New York Football Giants with an extra point to come, as they actually just scored a touchdown. It was a Tom Brady strike to Chris Godwin. Michigan to Penn State. Wolverines beat the Nittany Lions last week by 21-17. And then both teams won this past week. Michigan beat Maryland, who Penn State also beat. And then Penn State beat Rutgers, who Michigan also beat. But Tampa Bay up 7-0 over the Giants. But week 11 in the NFL began last Thursday. The Patriots blanked the Falcons 25-0. Yesterday, Jonathan Taylor ran for 4 touchdowns, had 5 total. 41-17 winners for the Colts at Buffalo against the Bills, as they're sort of becoming what the Chiefs just were before this 4-game winning streak that Kansas City's on now, after defeating the Cowboys yesterday 19-9. And that's a roller coaster, up and down, side to side, all over the place. No running game whatsoever, and the quarterbacks in Mahomes at point in time until they found stride. And now Josh Allen having to do it all by himself. So we'll see if Buffalo can get it fixed by the time the playoffs roll around. Even if they get a chance to, and I mean, they will, but because there's still a lot of football to play, and they're going to win a few more games, no doubt about it. They play at the Saints on Thanksgiving night. But, there's a small percent that if they keep it up, along with the Cowboys, that the Eagles, Skins, and Giants, more so than not just the Eagles, are going to be, coming for them in the division. Buffalo might be in for some trouble moving ahead, and might not get in, but they will. New England will probably get into, to be honest with you. They're playing some damn good football right now, too. So that's why they play games once more. Not side on paper, side on field. So that was yesterday, 41-15 win for the Colts over the Bills. The Ravens, without Lamar Jackson, beat the Bears 16-13. The Browns defeated the winless Lions, who are still winless. They'll play Chicago without Justin Fields, and Dalton going to start on Thanksgiving this Thursday, high noon on Fox. As Bears Lions is on Fox, Raiders Cowboys on CBS, and then Bills Saints on NBC. And I'll have live watch along reactions of the middle game right here on YouTube then, so be sure to tune in. The Lions covered, but they still lose. They still haven't won. They tied last week against Pittsburgh. I thought they were going to win against Cleveland yesterday. They don't. They lose again. They're 0-9-1 now. They'll win a few by the end of the year. They should have a few wins, as we said now, but they don't. But Detroit loses again. Cleveland wins at 13-10. The Texans upset the Titans 22-13. Minnesota won on a game-winning field goal, 34-31 at home against Green Bay Packers. Tennessee and Green Bay now both 8-3. There's a lot of teams right now in the NFL. You look at the standings. There's a few, 7, 8, 9 wins. Everybody else, middle of the pack, 4, 5, 6 wins at best. And it's going to come down to the wire, especially with this expanded season, the biggest season ever in NFL history. Once again, there's still a lot of football to play. I mean, a few teams are on a few winning streaks, a few teams that are on a few losing streaks right now. Tampa's trying not to lose 3 in a row here tonight on Monday Night Football. But they lead now early 7-0 following a touchdown as mentioned. But, once again, that's why they play games. Like, if we could all predict on what the hell's going to happen, we'd all have whoever we like, we root for, our favorite team, win every single game, as we, for most part, probably do so in a video game. And, you win the championship every year. But that's not how, real life goes. But, yeah. it was an eventful NFL Sunday yesterday. There were a few good games. I thought Green Bay, Minnesota was the best. I mean, on paper coming in, yeah, no doubt it was Dallas, Kansas City, but after the games were played, I mean, Sunday football last night too came down to the wire, with Pittsburgh still losing against the Chargers 41-37. But so really, I guess now I say that because I really didn't think about that until I just said that, because I knew from my point of view, my opinion. Everybody has their opinion. Let me know yours in the comment below. That I thought Green Bay, Minnesota was the best game yesterday. But then, I mean, even watching Pittsburgh, LA last night, you can go check out that stream as well. That's why we're going to do Survivor Series coming up shortly. I know we're behind now, but we'll get to it here momentarily. Yeah, I guess would be a tie with Green Bay, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh, LA for the best games yesterday. There were a few close games. I mean, blowout or two there, but another good week in football in general, with the Culture Bowl world and the NFL wrapping up week 11 tonight on Monday night. But where do we leave off? Tennessee lost at home in the rain as well, against the Texans, who currently, of course, still play in the city of the Titans used to call home, as the Houston Oilers before moving to Nashville and becoming the Tennessee Titans. And then the Texans entered the league as an expansion team about 20 years ago now. Houston picks up their second win of the year. They're 1-8. They started 1-0, 8-game losing streak, and they win again. And they'll probably win one more if that trend keeps up by the end of the year. 22-13 winners yesterday at Tennessee. As mentioned, Minnesota won a game-winning field goal, 34-31 against Green Bay Packers. Miami, 24-17 winners at the Jets. The Eagles won for the first time at home yesterday since the last time they won at home, of course. This time last year, also against the New Orleans Saints. This time around, a 40-29 win over no Drew Brees, no Taysom Hill, even though I guess he just reworked his deal today. Once again, I don't know why, but no Jameis Winston, and Trevor Siemian ain't cutting it. And I think the Saints are in trouble. I do. I think the New Orleans Saints are in trouble right now. I think Buffalo is going to beat them on Thursday night. Talk about losing streaks. New Orleans lost a few in a row. They'll play, along with the Dallas Cowboys, 2 straight Thursday night games over the next 2 weeks, with Raiders, Cowboys, and then Bills, Saints, and then Dallas goes to New Orleans early December, a week later. I think New Orleans is in trouble, I do. And I think Dallas, if they keep it up with what they're doing and not being able to score touchdowns, you can't settle for field goals all the time, and they just shot themselves in the foot too many times yesterday. I feel, for the most part, as I just mentioned, the Eagles, more so than not, than the Redskins, watch football team, the Giants, they're going to be coming for the boys. But we all know with the NFC East, it always comes down to the final week of the regular season, and there's always a new team that wins that division every single year. So last year's Washington, I think Dallas is still sitting pretty, but they got to get out of this slump that they're in right now and not be a roller coaster as well. But I get you win some and you lose some, but still, Dallas is good. As mentioned yesterday, I feel right now they're playing their best football that they played in quite a while. And, I mean, if they can get hot at the end of the year, maybe go on a run, who knows? Maybe we'll have to listen to Cowboy fans not bitch that they, and us making fun of them, that they lose again. But, Dallas, if they get going, who knows? They could end up in L.A. in the middle of February. But I'll digress on that topic for the time being. But, yeah, they lost yesterday, too. I covered that game along with Sunday football, Steelers, Chargers. Be sure to go check out those reaction streams right here on the channel. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also yesterday, Washington defeated Carolina 27-21, and Riverboat Ron Rivera's returned to Charlotte against his old team, as Cam Newton has since returned, and he started at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers again, but not enough. And defense wins the championships. Defense won Washington that game at Carolina by 6, as mentioned, 27-21, your final score. The 49ers beat the Jags by 20, 30-10. Cincinnati, 32-13, winners over the Raiders. Chiefs beat the Cowboys by 10, 19-9. Cardinals by 10 as well, 23-13 over the Seahawks, who are also, talk about trouble, they're in a hole right now at 3-7. Even with Russell Wilson back, they're 0-2 since his return. And they're going to have to go on a run if they're going to want to make the playoffs. And then I'm sure there's going to be talk on if he wants to be there and wants to play for him in the future, if he'll end up elsewhere next year. Who the hell knows? We'll get into off-season discussion, at some point else in time down the line. And then last night on Sunday Night Football, the Chargers, in a back-and-forth game in the fourth quarter, they blew a 17-point lead. Pittsburgh came back and tied it up after they had the game lost a few times. Somehow, some way, found a way to come back and tie it up. Led by 3 and then give a touchdown. And as mentioned then, the game really changed, I thought. The Chargers took advantage and controlled it after Pittsburgh decided to go for it on 4th and goal early in the game and didn't get it. And then they drove 98 yards and scored a touchdown to go up 11, 14-3. And it was back and forth. It was 17-10 at halftime and 27-10 then at a point in time. Special teams played key. Turnovers as well. Back and forth as mentioned. But even without, Pittsburgh being shorthanded on defense, no TJ Watt, no Joe Hayden, no Minka Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I said last night, and I'll say it again. They missed them, and hopefully, they'll be able to get them back ASAP. But they found a way to make plays and make some stops and late to get the ball back and, tie the game back up before taking a lead. And then it goes back to the going for it on 4th and goal and not getting it when he should have had a field goal, and then you get Boswell potentially at the end of the game and range for his 5th field goal to potentially win it then at that point. But then you can't settle for a field goal late when you tied at 34, go up 37-34, touchdown 41-34, and then a blown coverage, and then they score and they win by 4, 41-37, and then you finally do lose as you lost the game a few times during the game, but it's not final, it's not official until the game's over with, triple zeros on the clock, etc. But credit to the Chargers, they played damn good last night. I mean, hell, Herbert almost had 500 total yards, had almost 400 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. And then they couldn't stop Austin Eckler. He had 4 total touchdowns with 2 rushing and 2 receiving for about 100 all-purpose yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense last time Sunday Night Football. So Pittsburgh with the loss, they fall to 5-4-1 now. They'll play at Cincinnati next Sunday. I'll have live watch-along reactions live right here on YouTube, but then, so be sure to tune in. And then the Chargers, they'll head to Mile High to take on the Broncos now at 6-4, right behind the Chiefs in the AFC West. I feel it's going to come down to those 2 teams for the division. They'll play, like I said last night, I believe it's the Thursday before, maybe even a week before Christmas and on Thursday night. I believe in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. It might be in LA, but that'll be a big game. There's going to be a lot of big games coming up to close out the regular season over the next month or so into the new year before the playoffs do in fact begin, with, of course, 14 of the 32 making the postseason on the way to Super Bowl 56. And then here we have Monday Night Football. It is still 7-0 Buccaneers leading the New York Football Giants. Next week, though, in the National Football League, we'll kick off on Thursday. We'll have 3 Thanksgiving games with the Bears and Lions, Raiders and Cowboys, and Bills and Saints, as all 6 teams are coming off losses this past week. Of course, Chicago lost to the Ravens. Detroit lost to the Browns. The Raiders lost to the Bengals. The Cowboys lost to the Chiefs. The Bills lost to the Colts. And the Saints lost to the Eagles. So somebody's going to lose. 3 of those teams at least will. 2 in a row. And somebody's going to win on Thursday. Unless, just like Detroit already tied Pittsburgh, maybe we have some more ties on Thanksgiving but hopefully not. They need to change the overtime rule, no doubt about it, and have, in the end, somebody win the game. No games ever need to end in a tie anymore. It's 2021. It's not, 1492 for God's sakes. Like, Roger Goodell, shut the fuck up and let the players play and get rid of the damn taunting rule as well. And just, it's football. When you sign up, you're going to get hit. So, with late hits, whether it's a roughing the passer or a hit out of bounds, etc., however you want to describe it, you're going to get hit. Let them play. If it's a penalty, call it. If not, don't. And then taunting, well, you score a touchdown, you want to celebrate. You want to have fun. I guess, like I said yesterday, you got to do that on the sideline now. And worst they give you is a sideline warning, and it's, no yardage tacked against you anyway. So, yeah, the taunting rule needs to go. They need to settle down. The NFL does as a whole with rules and just one thing after another. It's like we're always talking about something. But I'll digress on that for the time being. We're going to get into the Survivor Series here in a second. I know, like I said, we're a little behind schedule because my mouth is rolling and I haven't shut up yet, and I won't shut up until we get done with this train tonight. But I'll blab as really much as I want to blab. But once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. Steelers, Bengals next week. These Bucks who lead the blue-red, or the red, white, and blue, I should say, Giants, depending on their uniform choice for the day. 7-0 on Monday Night Football. They'll head to Indy to take on the blue and white Colts next Sunday, and arguably, one of the better games of the week. Carolina at Miami. The two best games next Sunday are, in fact, Rams, Packers, and Titans, Patriots. Probably followed by Bucks, Colts, and Steelers, Bengals. Those are your top 4 games, I'd say, next week. Sunday Night Football is Browns, Ravens. Monday Night Football next week, Seahawks and Skins. So, yeah, Seahawks, Skins next Monday night, but next Sunday, Steelers, Bengals, Buccaneers, Colts, Panthers, Dolphins, along with the Titans and Patriots, Eagles and Giants, along with the Falcons and Jaguars, Jets, Texans in a shit show, the Chargers in Denver taking on the Broncos, as mentioned, Rams, Packers, as Matthew Stafford will return to the NFC North, Vikings, Niners. That should be a good game. Both teams playing some damn good football as of late, both sitting at 5-5 in the playoff hunt. Sunday Night Football, Browns, Ravens, and then next week, as mentioned, Monday Night Football, Seattle and Washington. Now, before WWE Survivor Series, AEW Full Gear, as I did not get a chance to sit down and record a recap from this after the pay-per-view last weekend, so I figured, of course, I didn't even sit down to do live watch long reactions of it either because it is football season, and with AEW and WWE now going to have Saturday and Sunday pay-per-views, we'll see how the schedule shakes out, but, for AEW Full Gear in the fall, in November, I watched it, of course, yeah, no doubt about it, but I haven't actually streamed for that pay-per-view ever, I do believe. There are other 3 throughout the year with Revolution, Double or Nothing, and All Out, yes, because that's in, February, March, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. But when it's football season, it's football season. But once again, I didn't get a chance to sit down and record last week, so I figured I'd add it in here at the start of the show, and we'll get to Survivor Series once again here in a second. But AEW Full Gear last Saturday, it was from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The night kicked off with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, and Darby Allin putting on a show. MJF picked up the win. Arguably, he should be one of the top number 1 contenders to vie for Hangman Adam Page's newly won AEW World Heavyweight Championship, I should say. However, in the Eliminator match to determine the number one contender for the title. Bryan Danielson defeated Miro. So Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, going by his real name once again in pro wrestling, he is your new number one contender for Hangman's AEW World Title in AEW. So Hangman's a face. Bryan Danielson, DB, BD, whatever you want to say. He turned heel this past week on Dynamite as well. It seems like we'll see what the future holds. This upcoming week. It seems to me he's going to take out the whole entire Dark Order from now until the end of the year. And then probably when they'll have a Winter is Coming and a New Year's Smash show in December. But then when they go to TBS, that's when they'll have that championship match. And then Hangman, he might have a short reign. I'd have him beat Bryan Danielson, but we'll see what they do booking wise. Because AEW's champions, Jericho was the inaugural. He held the title for about 6-7 months. Then he dropped it to Jon Moxley, who held it for about 10 months before Omega beat him last December. And then Omega just lost to Hangman here at Full Gear. And that was an 11-month reign. So why not give Hangman a full year as the champion? I know they won't, but which sucks, because I remember saying when AEW first started, Hangman Adam Page, and you go check out older videos if you don't believe me. It should be right here on the channel. I don't know where else they would be by any means, but I'd said then, and I'll say it again, he's a future World Heavyweight Champion. It's just a matter of when they put the damn title on him. And it took him this long. There's been a few bumps in the road, but like I said earlier, it was cool seeing him return at the AEW Anniversary Show. Be sure to check out that video. He won the ladder match and became the number one contender at that point, and then just defeated Omega, who's now going to be on the shelf with a few injuries. He actually just vacated the AAA World Heavyweight Championship earlier today. So Kenny Omega is probably going to be out for a few months, to say the least. I don't know when he'll end up returning. I would think at the earliest, pay-per-view wise, okay, Revolution, maybe Double or Nothing, but AEW runs how many TV specials on TV throughout the year, so they could also, of course, have it be then for a spike in this so-called ratings era that we live in, that all anybody ever cares about anymore, especially the WWE. So it seems like, it's ratings this, ratings that. It's like, well, if you put on a good product, you wouldn't have to worry about that because people would actually be watching. End of story. And that's all I'll say about that for now. I've said my piece on that topic in the past, but MJF, he defeated Darby to kick off Full Gear. MJF now sort of in a feud with CM Punk after Punk defeated Eddie Kingston. Eddie's working some younger talent right now as well, with Daniel Garcia and 2.0. Not NXT 2.0, but formerly known as Everrise, now 2.0 in AEW. NXT, for what AEW's allowed them to do, you look back on it, they, seems to me, dropped the ball with them. WWE's dropped the ball with a lot of people as of late. And, like I said at the start, battle for brand supremacy with Raw and SmackDown for Survivor Series, which we'll get to here in a second. And NXT not being included in that, no shit. Because, well, for one, they've only done that like once, and it was about 2 years ago. And I saw the build up to that. That was cool as well when NXT took over SmackDown. That was after they got stuck in Saudi, and they had to figure out what the hell they're going to do less than 24 hours later with really nobody back in the States yet. But they killed NXT. They did. I haven't watched it in 2.5 months. I have no idea what the hell's going on in NXT. I couldn't tell you who's there, who isn't there, any of the storylines. I do believe I know this and this is probably as much as I know, that and if you're listening, tell me wrong in the comments below. I think Tommaso Ciampa is still the champion, if I'm not mistaken. But I honestly have no idea. NXT is not what it used to be. I couldn't get into it. They didn't give me a reason to watch it once they started 2.0. With the Bob Ross painting scheme that it is now, to say the least. I mean, it's just not what it used to be. It's NXT's dead, and I mean, hell, they just went through how many more releases last week. They've fired, I don't know how many people over the past year and a half, but more so than not, probably these past few months after they've returned to the road. Because normally, the cuts will be in April, maybe in the fall. It seems to me it's going to turn in, or it has turned into, a quarterly thing. And it's like, there's not going to be anybody left standing here before too long. And it's at a point now, as it is, it's hard to watch. It's like, what's the point now? They're not going to give anybody any reason to watch here before too long. Roman Reigns and probably a few others, but then that'll be it. They'll be the last one standing. And it's sad. It is. Because what NXT used to be and now what it's become, it's like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Okay, we have to do this, do that, because, we're not as good as our competition. Forget about your competition. You need to worry about your damn self. You need to do what you've done best. And, like I just said, with everybody more so than not, them being worried about the goddamn ratings, which, I care less about ratings. I'm going to watch it if I feel like it. Yeah, no doubt about it. But you won't have to worry about the ratings if you put on a good product, because people would actually be watching. It's like they're stuck in the past, and Vince is a good businessman, it seems like, but because he knows what the hell he's doing, no doubt about it, because he's been doing it for how long, but he's here before too long, probably going to have to be put out the pasture because he's past his prime. Like, of anybody, him and Nick Khan right now are the two main problems with the WWE booking in the WWE. So we'll see how Survivor Series goes. I doubt anything big's going to happen. Like, it's always been like this. It's champion versus champion, no title changes, not unless they're unifying them by any means, which they don't anymore anyway. It's like they have this, they have that. They had a lot of talent, now they don't have hardly any talent at all. It's like, once again, like, what the fuck? So, we'll get to the Survivor Series here once again in a minute, but I'm going to continue recapping Full Gear. Preview Survivor Series with the 7 total matches on the card, and then get into Survivor Series here, hopefully within the next 10 minutes or so. I was hoping to start watching about an hour or so ago now, but here I am still talking. As mentioned, MJF defeated Darby Allin. Bryan Danielson defeated Miro. They're both heels. They're both arguably the top contenders, in my opinion, for Hangman Adam Page's newly won AEW World Heavyweight Championship. The Lucha Brothers also defeated FTR to retain their AEW World Tag Team Championships. FTR, in the meantime, they are your AAA Tag Team Champions as well. So even with a loss, they're still a champion. Jurassic Express, along with Christian Cage, Too Sweet Me, they defeated the Super Elite with Adam Cole, Bebe, and the Young Bucks. Cody Rhodes and Pac, of course, formerly known as Neville, in the WWE, defeated Malachi Black and Andrade in a awkward tag team match, to say the least. I mean, it was Cody and Malachi there for a few months after he entered the company back in July. And, there's 4 former WWE guys in a tag team match on an AEW pay-per-view. But they sort of put it together real quick late, and I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know, not necessarily didn't belong, but because it did, because with the recent stories, it just, I don't know, sort of felt out of place, I guess you could say. Britt Baker retained her AW Women's Championship, defeating Ty Conti, who formerly worked in NXT as well. I believe I saw her just prior to COVID, an NXT live event, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go check out a video or two to see for 100% certainty, but yeah, she's, I mean, an up-and-comer in AEW, but Britt is Britt. She's the main bitch, the Dr. DMD herself in AEW right now. She's at the top. It's Britt Baker, and, you know, at least finally they put the title on her when they did, back Double or Nothing, and, you know, she's been progressing well ever since. I mean, really from the start of her wrestling career from Groundhog City, USA. Of course, a Penn State and Pitt alum. She has her bachelor's from right here in Happy Valley, and then she has her doctorate degree as a dentist from Eat Shit Pitt. But yeah, she is the AEW Women's Champion, and well, Adam Cole has her for a girlfriend right now too. So I mean, you can't get much better than that. Britt Baker defeated Tay Conti, and she is still your women's champion. You know, yeah, she battled a few injuries. You know, she probably should have been champion way before she was. They held back. Of course, COVID put a halt on a lot of things for a lot of people. Hopefully everyone's doing well and staying safe. Whether you have the shot or not, whether you plan on getting it or not, whether you're wearing a mask or not, who the hell cares? Let's just get back to life as we once knew it. Yeah, she's been the world champion in the women's division for AEW, and she still is after Full Gear. CM Punk defeated Eddie Kingston in a back and forth, heated, real life feud, so they say, sort of similar to what, you know, Becky and Charlotte have going on right now for the WWE, as we'll get to Survivor Series here in a second once more. But that was a good match. You know, Punk, of course, won. He hasn't lost yet. You know, there's a lot of people saying that they're already screwing him up, but he's putting over a lot of talent. He is. He's doing what he wants to do. You know, people are still bitching that he didn't go back and sign with the WWE again. Well, that was his choice, and he decided, no, I want to go to AEW if I'm coming back to pro wrestling, because it's pro wrestling, not what WWE is doing with the sports entertainment aspect to it, but still pro wrestling at the same time. You know, Punk's going to do what Punk wants to do, and you got to live with it, whether you like him or not, especially if you like him, but then you still bitch about it. It's like, what the hell? It's like, you can't play both sides to that fight. It makes no sense to that point. Like, you just look like a dumbass. But CM Punk with a win. We'll see, you know, what they do with him as we move ahead. Like I said, it's him and MJF right now, it seems like, you know, and, you know, after last week, that just started. And, I mean, I heard people bitching about that this is pointless. Well, maybe to an extent for now, but whether you're watching or not, but more so than not if you're not watching it, or more so to the fact that, fact of the matter is, if you're not watching it, you don't know what the hell's going on, but then you have, you know, a reason to bitch. I mean, everybody has their opinion, I get it. That's the problem, though, too. Everybody's brainwashed with this COVID shit and just everything else, but it's a good feud. It's going to be a good feud, and Punk will probably put him over. Or they'll end in a draw or keep going back and forth and have a few matches here and there in the new year. You know, maybe the winner, you know, because Punk, at some point in time, I would think he's going to be winning the title. I don't know when, though. That's the problem there. But yeah, like if you're not watching and you don't know what's going on, whether you're reading the dirt sheets or not, and then saying this or that, like MJF's arguably one of the hottest heels, best heels in all pro wrestling right now. Like he is up there, in my opinion, with Roman Reigns, with what Omega did the past year. I'm sure there's a few others that I'm forgetting about. I mean, there's always a few good heels and a few good faces. But then if you can play both sides of it and you're a face one day and a heel the next, and you can go back and forth, but then more so than not, you're a better heel than you are a face, you're going to get my respect. And I mean, Styles and Owens are like that. I feel Brian Danielson's another now in AEW. Punk's another too. Jericho. I mean, the list is a mile long. I'm just naming off a few off the top of my head. But speaking of Jericho too, with Full Gear, the Inner Circle defeated the fat-faced dipshit American Top Team, and arguably one of the funniest feuds I've seen recently in pro wrestling, with all the shots and everything that was said back and forth between Jericho and Dan Lambert. Talk about a heel. That man knows how to get people under his skin. Oh my God, he was just perfect for what they did over these past few months. Really enjoyed that. As in the meantime, they came up on the losing end of it, as they had a few wrestlers and MMA fighters in the ring, and the Inner Circle picked up the win. Before the main event, Jay Lethal came out. Jay Lethal now in AEW, leaving Ring of Honor, as mentioned earlier. They have closed down shop. We'll see if they return in the spring or not. But, really, it's with no more Ring of Honor now, and it sucks because they've been around for how long. But, it's AEW and WWE. It's, Impact. It's New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know Impact, along with AEW, probably going to be signing a few more of these former WWE releases as of late, when their time comes. But, yeah, Jay Lethal's in AEW. Excited to see what they do with him. He, of course, has a great Ric Flair impression. Sounds just like him on the mic when he talks like him. So give me 2 claps and a woo. Or give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair for the woo, I should say. But, yeah, he lost against Sammy Guevara last week in the main event of Dynamite. I'm like, well, you're bringing him in. Championship match in the main event. And Sammy's held the title now for almost 2 months. You probably should have him win, but they don't. They have him lose. But, yeah, there's that. But future bright for everyone in AEW and everywhere in the world of pro wrestling, to an extent, depending on who you are. No offense, but that's just how it goes. And then in the main event for the 4-hour Full Gear, and we got about 3.5 hours of Survivor Series upcoming. We're going to get that underway here in a second. It was Kenny Omega defending his AEW World Heavyweight Championship against the Cowboy, Hangman Adam Page. And to end Full Gear, it ended up being a Cowboy shit pay-per-view. It was damn good. It wasn't as good as All Out. But they put on their banger with however many matches they had there, with everything I just named off. About 10 matches, give or take. They have 4 main pay-per-views and, TV specials. It's not overkill. It's not one a month. I think WWE's started to understand that a little bit. They've been learning over the past 2.5 years, 3 years, what works and what doesn't, more so than not, because I mean they're not by themselves anymore. And you look ahead to the pay-per-view schedule for next year, it's still one a month, but they're a little bit more spaced out. Maybe one every month and a half, 2 months. But then even AEW has the TV specials, which is a sigh of relief. Like and it's still not overkill. It's refreshing. To me, it is. When I watch AEW, it's refreshing compared to watching WWE, because it's like, what the hell are you doing? Compared to, okay, well, I like that. I mean, I of course still like a few things that WWE does, but anymore, it's like, what's the fucking point of watching this? But we're gonna watch Survivor Series, as we're, as mentioned, once again, a little bit behind, but we're watching on a delay from last night because I did not watch this. I still have no idea what the hell happened. But yeah, because of football this weekend and live watch along reactions there, here we are for WWE Survivor Series. But yeah, Full Gear ended with Hangman Adam Page becoming the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So, crack cold one, and we'll see how cowboyish AEW becomes in the world title scene over the next few weeks, months to come, and we'll see how long this title reign is. But he deserves it, no doubt about it. He's busted his ass, and he's had a few bumps in the road, but they finally put the title on him. And congrats to Hangman Adam Page. Hangman's your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah, we've discussed to an extent everything I've wanted to talk about for the most part here prior to watching Survivor Series now. So we're going to get into Survivor Series now. But before I do, as always, just want to say thank you for tuning in and listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below, as I am your host, Encyclopedia of Sports, Cohan Luke 96. So be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. Be sure to check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That red subscribe button, little notification bell next to it as well, right here on YouTube. Thumbs up button, share, chat questions and comments, super chats, super stickers. Always greatly appreciated as well. And without any further ado, WWE Survivor Series on a delay from last night with a few champion versus champion matches. Your inaugural or typical Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination matches that really are pointless. Don't mean a damn thing. I mean, this pay-per-view is going to be pointless to begin with, but we're going to watch it anyway. And then they also added in the 25-man Battle Royal for the 25th anniversary of The Rock. And like I said earlier, not knowing what's happened, but knowing that he's not going to show up, it's not going to surprise me if he does, but I know he's not going to. There was talk that, okay, he will, but he probably won't because of his acting career. He's filming a movie somewhere. Like I said, I think he's overseas or he's down under in Australia. But, yeah, so we'll see how Survivor Series goes here now over the next couple hours or so. But just be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below, and let's get to it. Let's get into the 2021 edition of WWE Survivor Series, a year after the 30th anniversary. They celebrated The Undertaker last year, remember, at Survivor Series. Now it's The Rock, and they have live fans back in attendance. Last year was from Thunderdome. Now they're in Brooklyn to Barclays Center. It's from last night, though. I'm about to watch it on the delay, so we'll see what the main event is. Like I said, whether it be, and it probably will be, Reigns and Big E, but it very well could also be Becky and Charlotte. Whatever doesn't will probably either be the co-main event of the show or kick it off, and then they'll fill in everything else in between with the other champion versus champion matches, the Battle Royal, and the not inaugural, but your typical 5-5 Survivor Series elimination matches. So, once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. And really, here goes nothing. WWE Survivor Series from last night. Then, now, Forever Together WWE with the opening video package. WWE Monday Night Raw, the post-Survivor Series Raw on the road to WWE Day 1. Ongoing, but I am not watching. Right now, I have no idea what's going on. Watch that tomorrow for the most part, probably. Also on a delay. Behind schedule because of some other conflicts. But now, the opening video package. What the hell is this? Okay, there is The Rock. I think this is one of his new movies. As The Rock and is that Ryan Reynolds? Red Notice. A lot in common, a lot of action. The Battleground of NYC. It'll be Roman Reigns and Big E. Raw versus SmackDown. Becky and Charlotte. This is actually an interesting opening video package because they never tie in, unless they're cross-promoting, and I get it's Dwayne Johnson, I get it's The Rock, a movie. I mean, if anything, they're talking about it middle of the show between a match, and it's, only for a few seconds, but they even added into the video package, opening video package here for Survivor Series, hyping up the show before we get underway. Doesn't get bigger than this. Raw and SmackDown about to do battle. Traditional 5-on-5. Traditional is probably the word I'm thinking of. But it's your typical match that we always get. It's not 1988 anymore. It doesn't mean as much as it used to because it really doesn't do a whole lot unless they do whatever it may be in the match itself, continuing the feud with whoever is butting heads with each other right now. Who will survive at Survivor Series? Anything can happen. Are you not entertained? Well, we'll see about that. We'll see how Survivor Series goes. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be an alright show, but probably nothing spectacular. WWE Survivor Series from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, with opening pyro. This was from last night, if you're just now tuning in. About 24, now 25 hours behind. But hashtag WWE, hashtag Survivor Series. And whether they're sold out or not, they're still going to tell us from the sold out Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It's a Thanksgiving week tradition. It's always right before Thanksgiving. Survivor Series in Brooklyn next year. I believe they'll also be in the Northeast. I believe back in Brooklyn or even Boston, if I'm not mistaken. But welcome to Survivor Series. What match is going to kick off the show? Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, the Raw Women's Champion and the SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky was on SmackDown when she returned. She was the SmackDown Women's Champion. Drafted to Raw. Charlotte, vice versa. She was on Raw as the Raw Women's Champion, drafted to SmackDown. And then this is really when it all started for the most recent heated debate with the two of them, with switching championship titles with each other. To have Becky as your Raw Women's Champion now, and Charlotte as your SmackDown Women's Champion now. And then earlier this year, they say this was at some point in time after fans return. It seems to me like after SummerSlam and even after the draft, hell, even after Crown Jewel, it was after the draft and after Crown Jewel when this all heated up the past month. As they give us, a few recaps or two here over the past few years with Becky and Charlotte, of course, being in NXT together, part of the Four Horsewomen, if you will, with Bayley, who needs to return, but she's injured, and then also Sasha Banks, who I believe is in the women's. Yeah, she's in the 5-on-5 women's elimination match for SmackDown. As we'll see with the 5-on-5 elimination matches as well, if they'll have one specific brand win both or they'll split them. Because, they're known to do both, but for the most part, known as of late to have, whether it be Raw or SmackDown, win both matches, just so that they have, an advantage. They have bragging rights, if you will, over the next year that they can just talk about that nobody's going to care about anyway, but it is what it is. Yeah, so there's the title exchange after Crown Jewel. And they really started to get after each other after that, with, of course, Becky Lynch being the man, but there's only one man, and it's the Nature Boy himself, and it's Charlotte's dad, Ric Flair. So, yeah, like Charlotte asked her in her promo, who the hell are you? Both Becky and her husband, Seth Rollins, Mr. Nickname as I like to call him, they're known as a lot of different personas. They're known as, this, that, or the other. And we'll see what happens, but it's not like anything's going to really happen with these two. It's, not a title match. It's all head-to-head, and that's what Survivor Series, it just... Like, I'm interested, but I'm not, that intrigued. I'm not that indulged into really, like, figuring out what the hell's going to happen. Like, it just... Because it's not that good. Survivor Series is not that good. So, here comes Charlotte, and here comes Becky, and they'll do battle. We're going to try to watch this from the start to the finish. If it keeps up and I feel it's getting bad, hell, I might end up fast forwarding to a few of the matches I actually just want to see and see the results and go from there. But here comes Charlotte. She is your SmackDown Women's Champion. She's going to take on Becky Lynch, who is your Raw Women's Champion. But Survivor Series is now underway. And, yeah, we'll see what the hell happens here. So I guess, yeah, just depending on how the night goes with Survivor Series, watching on delay. What matches I do end up watching here versus what matches I don't and skip by. No offense to anybody involved. Along with for sure this match, and then also the main event, I'd guess now with Reigns and Big E. We have Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, along with Jimmy Smith, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton on the call tonight. And both Charlotte, the queen of WWE, and now big time Bex, the man herself, both getting some big pops from the crowd. As Becky's representing Raw in the right way, I guess you could say, wearing all red tonight. Well, from last night, actually, but yeah, here we are. And Charlotte's in all black, so figured she'd be wearing blue. I mean, the 5-on-5 matches, whoever's on Raw and whoever's on SmackDown, they'll probably be wearing Raw and SmackDown t-shirts as they normally do. But, I mean, if you know, you know. Like, okay, if you don't, ask, but, like, it's just, like, the WWE Universe knows. Bell rings, match underway. So, here goes probably a good 15 minutes. Charlotte going to drive Becky into the corner. Ref holding her back. And then Becky with a chop block to the back of the left knee. And an armbar locked in already on the left arm of Charlotte Flair. Big kick on a reverse. Becky and Charlotte both looking good tonight. And then a neck breaker. Yeah, there is some bad blood here. They're literally fighting each other. They're not wrestling. They're fighting one another. Becky gonna throw Charlotte, push her actually into the steel post. Now into the barricade, back into the ring. And they show a replay of the kick and then the one neck breaker, but we're pretty evenly matched here early. Very loud Becky chants from the crowd. A lot of history, no doubt about it, with Becky and Charlotte. Becky going to go for rock bottom, it looked like. And then Charlotte reverses for a backbreaker. And then a big boot to the back of the neck. So, Becky getting cheered. Becky chants. I mean, some woos for Charlotte, but more boos for the heel. I mean, Charlotte's just like her dad. She's a damn good heel. You know, Becky's a damn good heel, too. I mean, that's what she is. They're both heels, and they just have butted heads. There's a lot of controversy. The crowd's into it, you know. Once people buy into it, you're set. Because people are going to be watching. Until then, like, if you don't give me a reason to be interested in this, and nobody's going to want to watch it. And Becky driven into the post off the ring apron by Charlotte Flair, now ringside. She rolls out in front of the announce table. Now Charlotte going to go for a moonsault, it looks like, off the top rope ringside. And then Becky comes up from behind and pushes her off, and she goes face first into the barricade. So we'll have this Raw Women's, SmackDown Women's Champion versus Champion match with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Also, a 25-man Battle Royal. A Champion versus Champion tag team match as well with RK Bro and Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Your Champion versus Champion Intercontinental and United States Championship match. And, of course, your traditional, typical Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination matches. And one men's, one women's in that regard. And then your main event of the evening, it seems like now, with this match kicking off the show, with Roman Reigns and Big E. Champion versus Champion match there with Universal and WWE Champion, respectively. So, yeah, over the next however long I stay on to watch Survivor Series here, we'll get into what happened last night. Like I said, if there's a time or two here that I just feel like skipping through, I probably will now, to be honest with you. Because there's, probably another match or two that I'm not really that interested in. But I probably should, in the end, still watch the whole show and stream it like I normally do anyway. So, yeah, probably guarantee I'll stay on then at that point. But I might not. We'll see. Just see how the night goes, see how the show is. And, we'll go from there. So, Becky and Charlotte right now. The one match I could really care less about is the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination match with Team Raw and Team SmackDown, being Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina Vega, who won the Queen Crowns tournament, Crown Jewel, last month, along with Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, and Natalya, Toni Storm on SmackDown side of things. The tag team match should be alright with RK Bro and the Usos. Probably would like to see the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match as well. So we'll probably watch that. Yeah. Probably just end up skipping through the 5-on-5 Survivor Series women's elimination match, I bet you. And then we'll get to the end of the show when we get to the end of the show then at that point. Charlotte, quick roll up, 1, 2, and a kick out. And a nice big power slam, 1, 2, and a kick out as well. Charlotte laughing. If somebody said something, or of course she's just excited that she just did that to her. 1, 2, kick out. But it was a nice big slam and a kick out.
Survivor Series. Millions watching around the world. Here at Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. 15,120 WWE fans in attendance for our Thanksgiving week tradition known as Survivor Series.
Becky now with an arm bar, another quick roll up, 1, and a kick out. Just back and forth with these two right now. I still have no idea who they're going to have win. If I'd have to guess, probably Becky, to be honest with you, because she just returned and, she's hot right now. Crowd loving her. Let's go, Becky. Charlotte sucks. It really could go either way, but it heated up with what's happened with these two over the past month. Kip up by Charlotte. She stares her down. And now about to, well, we'll see a replay, but now about probably ready to go for big boot, if I'd have to guess, from Charlotte. She's going to actually drag her in from the corner to the center of the ring, pin her a little bit, saying, "You ain't shit." And Charlotte talking with the crowd now, yelling, "All these people know that I'm the greatest." And then walks over. She's going to go for a moonsault now off the top rope. Last one didn't connect. She got pushed ringside. She'll go for the moonsault, but Becky's going to move. Yeah, she does. But then Charlotte rolls it through. Quick roll up, 1, 2, and a kick out.
Charlotte becoming frustrated. The smile, in my opinion, on Charlotte's face is that Charlotte's face right this moment is one of false bravado. Charlotte Flair at this point is trying to convince herself that everything she said to this point has been true. Michael Cole, you say dumb things all the time. Has Charlotte Flair not done whatever she wanted?
Pat McAfee's right about that. Michael Cole does say dumb shit a lot of the time. Another quick roll up. 1, 2. Another kick out. Big right hand. And then, what was that, a knee? Looked like it. Going to go for running bulldog. They're back and forth with one another. Yeah, no doubt about it. They're put on a good match to kick off Survivor Series.
You are watching two of the greatest in-ring performers of our generation, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, kicking off Survivor Series here tonight. A 13-time champion, a 6-time.
Charlotte with a big boot, and Becky reverses it on the ropes. A couple uppercuts and a kick. Becky just going to town now with some rights and lefts, and get some kicks involved in that as well. And then a leg drop off the top rope as Charlotte was in between the ropes, so awkward landing into the ring before the pin and the kick out 1, 2 there. But yeah, that was a nice maneuver. Yeah, Becky with a nice big leg drop. Boom, and 1, 2 and a kick out. This is awesome chance now from the crowd. Hell, that didn't take long. We're not even 10, 15 minutes into this match.
Champion versus champion all night long. What a way to start things here at Survivor Series. It's about pride. Who's the better champion? Particularly in this match, it is all about pride and ego. Nice takedown by Becky. Looking for a disarmer. Actually, unique armball here by Lynch. Oh, the Charlotte Flair's arms are trapped, being hyperextended. Is she trying to break both of her arms? And Charlotte.
Another roll up. 1, 2, and a kick out. A lot of roll ups. Jesus Christ.
Incredible move by Becky Lynch. The biggest superstars on earth.
Another uppercut. Talk about the roll-ups. They probably won't. I'd hope not use that as the finish, but they might. I mean, hell, this might be a DQ too. Big boot, cover 1, 2, and a kick out. But yeah, they're teasing us with all these quick roll-ups, and then depending on who wins, I mean, if they actually use their finisher or not. I mean, right now, yeah, they probably will. I mean, but they're using a lot of quick roll-ups. I mean, I'd be shocked if they did. But it's just one of those type of matches that they're using all these quick roll-ups, and then they'll go home here, I would think, soon. But, yeah, Charlotte telling Becky, run away. Gonna pick her up and suplex her, it looks like. No, Becky gonna fight that off. Into the ropes they go. And then big boot once again by Charlotte. 1, 2, another kick out. Jesus Christ.
Now is Becky Lynch kicking out of these. And now the frustration is beginning to show on Charlotte. I mean, how could it not when you hit it this clean? This is when it all boils down to Charlotte with the power, with the athleticism, but Becky Lynch has the fire. This hit an Evan McPherson boot off of Becky Lynch's head, and Becky somehow kicks out. And Becky, Charlotte thinking about the figure 8 submission. Becky Lynch obviously had it well scouted.
They're working a 3-man booth right now with Cole, Graves, and McAfee. So, shout out to the 412. But I don't know how many times for these matches tonight they'll do that, you know, because you know, you have Jimmy Smith, you have Graves, and you also have Byron Saxton from Raw. So, I mean, they try to split the matches Raw and SmackDown, but it's Raw versus SmackDown night, so I don't know how they'll do that. Unless it's just going to be these three all night, which I doubt it will. They'll bring in, and then we'll see who the third man is in the other 3-man group, whether it's Graves or McAfee, but probably Jimmy Smith, no doubt, because he's a lead play-by-play with Saxton for sure, but then is it going to be Graves or McAfee? But maybe they do a full 3 because of circumstances. I don't know. Becky off the top rope with a leg drop, and it missed. Big boot, no. And then a rock bottom. 1, 2, and then Charlotte's legs on the bottom rope. Becky put Charlotte's left leg on the bottom rope as well for the rope break. Charlotte didn't do that. Becky put it there on the pin. And then the ref noticed, of course, rope break, 1, 2, kick out, and match going to continue. 100,000 million? Yeah, did he say that? And then Graves, that's not a thing, Pat. 100,000 million? Maybe 100 million thousand, but not 100,000 million. Figure 4 into the figure 8. Woo. Maybe she can reverse it. Tap out, bitch. This is real. This is a cat fight right now. Charlotte reverses it. And then a rope break. All right. Ref finally gets Charlotte to break the hold. And they separate, and this match will once again continue. This is awesome, Vince. This is a damn good match. Kickoff Survivor Series it is.
Survivor Series, over 15,000 on their feet throughout this matchup between the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and the SmackDown, I should say the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, and Charlotte boom, driving Becky to the floor. An absolutely brutal brawl of spite.
Now it looks like they're going to fight ringside because Charlotte just kicked Becky ringside into the barricade. Hard hit. Gonna get him. Try for another moonsault off top rope, looks like. Third time's a charm, maybe. First one, she got pushed off. Second one, Becky moved, but then she continued through with it and then hit. Moonsault. Oh, my God. Botchamania. Come on. I'm the greatest ever. Bullshit. You just fucking missed a moonsault that you should have easily hit. Come on now. They show a replay of it, too, from the other side. Becky, yeah, as Graves mentioned, did not get maximum full impact. Charlotte did not connect on that whatsoever at all. If she would have hit her with an elbow, maybe to actually hit her, okay, to make it look good, but no, she hit a moonsault, and Becky was like a step or two further back into the left, rather than being where she needed to be, and that's on both of them, but then Charlotte doesn't hit with the maneuver anyway, so yeah, that was just bad. And then another arm bar, but then another rope break, so This match is going to continue. Have a little buffer on my end with the WWE Network. On Peacock, I saw earlier today they released, I believe in its entirety, something I've been waiting for, in the second season of the WWE Ruthless Aggression series. As I believe the last time they had that was pre-COVID, so it's been a while. And they had said then, we're going to have both seasons here, like back to back. Like, you're not going to have to wait long. I mean, I get COVID put a halt to a lot of stuff, and you can only do so much to begin with. But yeah, they're finally rolling back out WWE Ruthless Aggression on the network. So I'm going to have to tune in to watch that, see how good the second season of it's going to be. But yeah, some more buffer. Hell, I might even get to watch Survivor Series now because of some technical difficulties. And then maybe I'll just have to look up some results and see what the hell did in fact happen. I mean, really, this and the Reigns Big E match, those really the only two matches I'm interested in. I don't mind watching the mid-card and tag team Survivor Series matches with Nakamura and Priest for the Intercontinental and United States Championship champion versus champion match, along with RK Bro and the Usos. And then the Battle Royal that just added in, I care less about that. They'll probably some stupid one that anyway. But then the men's 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series matchup, I'd like to see that, but then at the same time, like, now experiencing technical difficulties on my end, it's not even showing anything on the WWE Network on Peacock. What the hell? Since they moved the WWE Network to Peacock, this is how bad it's been. Whether I'm watching it live or on the tape delay, it's absolutely horseshit. So we're going to try to watch this replay again. Start it over, maybe if we can try to fast forward. Yeah, I'm trying to watch the replay now. It just fucking cut out on me. What the hell? The screen went black. This is pathetic. Come on, WWE. What the hell? I can't even get out of it. I don't know if, of course, this would have happened to me last night by any means. Whenever this was actually live and now I'm watching it, a day later. But I guess I'm going to have to watch it at some other point in time now because it's not even showing anything. It was working perfectly fine. And normally when it buffers, it comes back on, which it did. But then I can't even get out of it now. The screen just went black on me. As we fade to black. And no Survivor Series. Like, what the hell? And like I said, I tried to stay off of social media with not finding out what the hell happened, because I still don't know what the hell happened. I guess I'm going to just have to look up what did happen and read off some results now. And we were in the middle of a damn good opening match with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. And now I guess we're not going to get to see the rest of Survivor Series for the time being, which sucks. I was planning on watching this in its entirety. I know, like I said a little bit ago, I was going to skip through, a few matches potentially if I felt like it at that point in time. But, for that first however long it's been since the start, I've been letting it play, and I was going to let it play until at least probably the 5-on-5 women's Survivor Series matchup. And that would probably be the only one I'd want to skip through and watch everything else. But now, the WWE Network's not even working right for me. And I don't know what to say. Because there really isn't anything to say. It literally just shit the bed. It's technology. It's good, but it also sucks when you need it to be good. Like, what the hell? I've had issues with it before. I think everybody has. Since they moved from the WWE Network to the WWE Network on Peacock. And like I said, I tried to stay off social media last night. Not knowing what happened. And I still don't know what happened, but I assume, but you know what they say when you assume, that, yeah, there probably was some more issues. There probably was a delay or two with some more buffer, and it was doing what it was doing. But now, after starting to watch it, it buffers, it doesn't, cut back. And now, I'm looking at a black screen, as you currently are right now, of course, listening audio only, live watch along reactions to WWE Survivor Series. And thank you for tuning in and listening. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. But it won't even. So if you hear a noise like that, it's my remote. I can't even click a button to get out of it. It won't let me exit to get back in it. So I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do other than, I guess, look up some results and take it for a grain of salt for what it's worth, and just imagine what did happen by reading off what did happen last night at Survivor Series. And if anybody's listening, of course, let me know in the comments below whether you're there or you watched it or whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's frustrating. That's pathetic. Hopefully they get it fixed by the new year, because they'll have WWE Day 1 on January the 1st. That'll be in Atlanta. I'll have, depending on college football bowl season, of course, New Year's Day is a big day for college football. The pay-per-view is going to be later on that night, after the Rose Bowl, and after all the earlier games that day. For the most part, yeah, I'm going to have live watch along reactions that Saturday night on January the 1st for WWE Day 1 to start 2022 off with a bang. Start fresh with the new year. In the meantime, they have a little over a month or so to figure out their technical difficulties. Knock on wood, I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't had any technical difficulties as of late with the YouTube channel here. I haven't. I mean, it's normally, I guess you could say on pace. We're we're on schedule, even though we're behind schedule tonight watching this. But, it's either happening all the time or it's, once in a blue moon. And then when it does happen, it's like everything is hit the fan. And I guess the shit hit the fan with the WWE Network on Peacock watching this on a tape delay. And I guess I should have watched it live last night with Sunday Night Football now, but I didn't want to miss my Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Penn State and Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so yeah, I wasn't missing those games. I wasn't missing Sunday Night Football. Just how the schedule worked out. They played last night against the Chargers on the road, Sunday Night Football. WWE Survivor Series Sunday, now Monday before Thanksgiving, watching on a delay, and yeah, here we are. So there's not really much else I can say or do, other than I guess I'm gonna have to look up some results and relay them via this audio recording for some live watch along reactions. And like I said, just for myself on my end, imagine what the hell happened, with how good the matches were, and who did in fact win, whether it says this or that, but then just think about it, how it happened, and so on and so forth. But coming into tonight, like I said, I figure, okay, nothing really major is going to happen. It's Survivor Series. It's not what it used to be. It'll heat up over the next month. They'll hopefully have a big build from now until the Day 1 pay-per-view. But yeah, until then, there's nothing else I can really do for the time being. So I guess, yeah, we're going to have to Look up some WWE Survivor Series results. Give me a second. Let me find some Survivor Series results, and we'll go from there. What the hell? What the hell? Okay. As mentioned, yes, WWE Monday Night Raw is ongoing right now. They're about, almost 2 hours in of their 3-hour show tonight. This is after Survivor Series. I still don't know what happened at Survivor Series because it just shit the bed on me watching on the WWE Network on Peacock. But there's a video. I got a notification about this. About to look up Survivor Series results. This is breaking news. Get a notification that a fan has just attacked Seth Rollins. This happens every once in a while. But this video, this guy was like really on Seth. Like, he obviously must have a thing for Becky or something. I don't know. But he was really getting to him. And then the ref finally, a couple of refs came in and took him out. Some other backstage personnel came out to hold him down. And then Rollins is talking shit. See if I can get some volume to this. Okay, just a fist fight, a little bit of a brawl. Oh my God is right, yeah. Come on, boy. Let's go. Where are they at for Raw? Oh, they're still in Brooklyn. They're at the Barclays Center still. Yeah, that's right. Fuck him up chants from the crowd. I wonder, well, because this happened in the walkway of the entrance from the stage to the ring, about halfway up. Looked like on the screen they were showing a replay of the match. Looked like Rollins was facing Balor or somebody from Team Raw last night, I guess. So they were showing a replay of the finish. I wonder if they actually showed this on TV or not. They probably didn't. I don't know if this just happened or not. Maybe, for some unknown reason, that's why my WWE Network on Peacock had. I doubt that. That's the last of the reasons, but hey, you just never know. It's technology, though. It sucks, or it's good, but it also sucks when you need it to be good. And there's really no explanation to it. It's just when it cuts out until it starts working again, there's nothing you can do about it. You can reset it as many times as you want, but if it's not working, it's not working. And it won't even let me get out. The black screen, as you see right now on YouTube for audio-only live watch live interactions, has just been for a little while now. We'll get back to an actual feed eventually at some point in time. Don't know when, but hoping soon. But yeah, the WWE Network on Peacock, just black screen. No idea why the hell. With the buffer that it had, didn't get back to, well, it actually did get back, but then it went black on me in the audio cut, and it's still black. So it's probably still rolling if I'd have to guess, but I doubt it, because my TV's never done anything like that before. I don't know why it would do something like that before, but I just know, from experience as well with this WWE Network on Peacock, with as many technical difficulties as I've had since they moved it back in the spring, along with everybody else, that for something live, for WWE pay-per-view, if you will, compared to actually watching something on demand, it's complete shit. It like cuts out. I mean, hell, how many times has it cut out during entrances and went to a commercial? Like, it's not a, as I mentioned then, TV show. It's not Raw or SmackDown. It's not like they come out for the entrance and then they cut to commercial, come back and have the match. It's a pay-per-view. It's live from start to finish. You don't cut during an entrance. You don't cut during a match. No, but yet they have. And then they don't do anything about it. Or if they try to do something about it, it just makes matters worse. So, yeah, that's where we're at. I can't watch Survivor Series now. So I'm sorry for anybody just now tuning in and listening or watching this on demand as well right here on the YouTube channel. Thank you for your support. Be sure to subscribe. But I guess I'll have to watch it at some other point in time later this week. I don't know when, but or at some point in time by the end of the year before the upcoming pay-per-view with Day 1, but then also watching Raw and SmackDown. No NXT for myself as of late since they switched it. I have no desire to watch it because they didn't give me a reason to watch it after the first episode. I watched the first week of 2.0, but since then, no, nothing. But then still, of course, watching AEW with Dynamite and Rampage. Occasionally, but not really, with Dark and Dark Elevation. But, you know, I guess I've seen enough of that actually in person as it is anyway. Be sure to go check out those videos, as mentioned earlier, right here on the channel, from all previous professional wrestling events that I've ever attended. All videos live right here on the channel, and be sure to subscribe. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to look up some results from WWE Survivor Series now and go from there, and then sign off for the night, and then hopefully everyone has a happy Thanksgiving, and then we'll be on the road to WWE Day 1 in the world of the WWE. AEW will have winners coming along with New Year's Smash by the end of the year as well, before they move to TBS for just Dynamite, Rampage, stand on TNT. But this week they'll have a Thanksgiving Dynamite and a Black Friday Rampage with their new AEW World Heavyweight Champion in Hangman Adam Page, as mentioned earlier, with the AEW results there. So I guess it evens itself out there a little bit, but not really. I mean, I watched Full Gear, but I didn't watch it. I did watch it, and I watched it live, but I didn't watch it and actually stream at the same time. Here I am with Survivor Series, just as I did with Crown Jewel a month ago, watching on a delay. It wasn't a full day behind, about 8 hours then, but, you know, I still, of course, have sat down and am streaming right now. Of course, no doubt about it. Hopefully you can hear me. Hit the thumbs up button if you can. But, yeah. There's not really much else to be said. Other than I can't watch Survivor Series right now because the WWE Network on Peacock, on my end at least, maybe the whole system just crashed on or something. I don't know. Something went out. It's not working for me whatsoever. It has completely just... I have no idea what to say. It just shit the bed. It is not working. It buffered. It came back on, but then it buffered again and the screen went black. And with as many technical difficulties as I've had in the past with it, here we go again. Here we go again. So that's where we sit at with the stream. But yeah. Coming out of halftime, too, Monday Night Football. Bucks lead the Giants 17-10. So, see if Tampa can snap a 2-game losing streak, or if the Giants can finally win on the road to Monday Night Football this year. They lost against Kansas City a few weeks back. But, yeah, just frustrating. It was, you know, not as excited as I normally am for a show, but still even watching on delay. Just technology, man. You know, it's good, but it sucks when you need to be good. But then, you know, without it, we won't know what the hell to do. Like, seriously, we've grown accustomed to we have this and we have that, and when we don't have it, you know, the world's falling apart. Yeah, so Survivor Series, we're going to look up some results, and we'll sign off for the night. And then be on to day one, and hopefully a fresh start for the WWE and for the WWE Network on Peacock, and no more technical difficulties into the new year. But only time's going to tell. I highly doubt it, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Take one thing at a time, and life's going to go on, and we got to live it one way or another. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Just sucks. Can't finish watching Survivor Series now, and I don't know when I'm going to get another chance to watch it, at least by the end of the week. I mean, maybe sometime next week or the week after that, but I highly doubt it then. So I guess I'm going to be a few weeks behind, at least for pay-per-view, but at least hopefully, or at least, yeah, because they're not having a December pay-per-view this year. Hopefully I can get to it by New Year's and then be on schedule on track to watch day one, which I know I will be. I'll watch it at some point in time. I just don't know when. That's just what I'm thinking right now. But then still watching the TVs and everything else, etc. All right, but yeah, Survivor Series. We'll see what happened, because I still have no idea. We were in the middle of the opening match, and it just hit the bed on me. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, champion versus champion. Pull up some results. As I was pulling up those results, that's when I saw the notification in the video of a fan attacking Seth Rollins night on Raw, which just led me to say everything I just said there. But okay, WWE Survivor Series 2021 results. A lot of drama. Okay, this match with Becky and Charlotte to kick off the show is actually the second match of the night. They moved the mid-card champion versus champion matchup with Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest as your IC and US champion to the kickoff pre-show. Are you kidding me? They had that on the kickoff pre-show? Didn't have that somewhere in the middle of the card? I mean, I would have thought they would have put the Battle Royal on the kickoff pre-show. Which that's probably what it got switched out for, and they probably had that in the middle of the card, which sucks. And it probably was won by somebody stupid. Let's see who won the Battle Royal. $25-man Battle Royal was the third match on the main card, it looks like. And almost being 10 feet tall, eliminated a lot of people, it looked like. Who was left standing at the end of it? The match turned into a Pizza Hut commercial? How was that possible? Oh, okay. So Red Notice and Pizza Hut were big sponsors last night then, I guess. Because the Rock, of course, with Red Notice and his 25th anniversary debut at Survivor Series. Okay, this is after the match. It turned into a pizza commercial, I guess. The Street Profits attacked AJ Styles, but almost won. Almost didn't win, but he won. They ate pizza, and then they threw pizza into the crowd. I would have loved that. I would have ate all that up for sure. Okay, that was somewhere early on. Yeah, the opening match, it was Becky and Charlotte. Okay, Lynch defeated Flair with a pinfall. Yeah, it was a damn good back and forth match from what I saw. Probably, arguably, that and whatever the main event was. Like I said, expect Reigns and Big E then at that point, because this went on first, to be the main event. Those two were probably the best matches of the night. But Becky and Charlotte was probably the best match of the night. To be honest with you, I mean, hell, it was the best match of the night for me because it's the only fucking match I got to see. Hey, that rhymes. Yeah, so Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte, looks like. Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte to kick off Survivor Series. And then, okay, the men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match was next with Team Monday Night Raw and Team Friday Night SmackDown. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory, who replaced Rey Mysterio. And then SmackDown was Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, who's no longer king, that belongs to the head of the table, Roman Reigns, along with Jeff Hardy, Baron Corbin, who is no longer broke. He's happy. He's happy Corbin. He was better off being broke in July rather than doing this happy Corbin shit with fucking Mad Cat or Madcap, whatever the fuck his name is, Moss. Telling jokes all the fucking time that aren't funny to begin with and so damn stupid. But at least Corbin's on TV, I guess. And he's another one that's changed characters I don't know how many times in his career. And then Jeff Hardy was in the match. Sheamus took the final spot, which was owned by... Who had that SmackDown spot? Let me think. Prior to Sheamus. Was it... it was Sami Zayn. That's who it was. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sami Zayn. I bet you he was in the Battle Royal because he wasn't in that match then. Yeah, who was in the Battle Royal? That's what I want to know. Because then Almost just beat them all. Okay, Almost won the Rock's 25th anniversary Battle Royal celebration, defeating Drew Gulak, R-Truth, Otis, T-Bar, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Eric, Humberto Carrillo, along with Ivar, Jinder Mahal, who's on Big Sky now, Shelton Benjamin, Angel Garza, Shanky, who is one half of Jinder's posse that he has with whatever the hell the other guy's name is. Mansoor, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, Sami Zayn was in the Battle Royal. That sucks for him. Styles was in that too. Are you kidding me? I feel so bad for AJ Styles. I do. Commander Aziz Sneeze with Apollo Crews, Cesaro. I feel bad for him too. Along with the Street Profits. And Almost won. Jesus Christ. And then who won the elimination matches? Team Raw defeated Team SmackDown. Seth Rollins was the sole survivor. Seth Rollins of Team Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Rollins. As Rollins outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted everybody else on Team Raw and SmackDown, picking up the win for the Red Brand in the WWE. Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory defeated Team SmackDown. Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, Jeff Hardy, Baron Corbin, and Sheamus, as he was the last one standing. So Team Raw won the men's. Who won the women's? Who won the women's now? Let me look here. Looking up some results. I guess this match didn't go on until a few matches after that. So towards the end of the show, because they only had, 6, 7, 8 matches. And Team Raw also won that. Wow, so they did steal both. And Raw gets 2 big wins. Bianca Belair was the sole survivor for Raw in that match. Team Raw, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Queen Zelina Vega, who won the Crown Tournament last month, over SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Shotzi Blackheart, Shayna Baszler, and Natalya and Toni Storm. Yeah, I probably would have skipped through that. The women's, not the men's. I would have watched that one. Not the women's Survivor Series match. I was watching Becky and Charlotte, though, to kick off the show in a damn good match. Probably, like I said, match of the night. So now your full results from WWE Survivor Series in order. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Damian Priest on the kickoff pre-show, unfortunately, in a champion versus champion, Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion matchup. Then Becky Lynch, to kick off the show, defeated Charlotte Flair in a champion versus champion, Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion matchup last night at Survivor Series as well. Back and forth match, it seemed like. She won with a pinfall. Not a great finish. Yeah, but it was a hard-hitting brawl, so they say. I'll have to, at some point in time, try to get back into the WWE Network on Peacock. If it'll allow me to exit to begin with, then get back in it and, watch it at another point in time. But I'm not going to have it here now tonight. So that's why now we're just going to look into these results and sign off, and still count it as a live watch-along reaction stream because, we were watching it, and then, it's out of my control with what happened with the technology, and it is not letting me watch it, so there's nothing I can do about it. But Becky defeated Charlotte to, for the time being, I guess, end their feud, but they'll go back to it at some point in time in the future, just a matter of when. But Becky and Charlotte, what they've done the past month for the women's division in the WWE, all eyes on them. It's going to spice it up a little bit and get some more eyes, and that's probably what they wanted to begin with, and maybe that's why they did it. But you can tell there was some heat, there was some bad blood, and, if they can put it past each other, okay, move on, so be it. If not, well, there's always a time or two for a rematch, so maybe next time they'll actually have it, be for championship rather than, or even not for a championship, just regular singles match. Love that too, rather than, champion versus champion with nothing on the line. And then Team Raw won both men's and women's traditional 5-on-5, your typical Survivor Series elimination matches. So your winners are, in fact, Team Raw. For the men, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory, along with the women's Team Raw of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina Vega with... And they really didn't have team captains this year. I don't know why. The build to Survivor Series, too, something I forgot to mention tonight for some unknown reason, just absolutely atrocious. Pathetic. It's like, they honestly seem not to care that, if you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. We're still going to do what we're going to do. And rightfully so, because they're going to do what they want, regardless in the end. And more power to them, because they're a business, they're a company, they're going to run their company as they wish. But, if only some things were a little bit better, especially when there's the same type, if not better, product that you have that's doing something better out there right now, but you're just treading water, if you will. So yeah, Rollins, Balor, Owens, Lashley, and Theory for Team Raw, picking up the men's win with Rollins as a sole survivor before being attacked just earlier on Raw tonight now. And then for the women's, Team Raw also won with Bianca Belair being the sole survivor. Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina Vega. As Raw defeated SmackDown in both 5-5 Survivor Series matches at Survivor Series. Also last night, it seems like that RK Bro picked up the winner of the Usos, which was, for the most part, probably expected. Because it seems to me, yeah, okay, they're still tag team champions on SmackDown. But, and almost, like I said, won the Battle Royal. Which, yeah, there's nothing to be said about that. But that was a pointless match. But that was just really to get everybody on the card. Just to say, hey, I wrestled at Survivor Series last night, or today. Or this year. However you want to say it, you know? Like, just to make you feel happy. When it doesn't do anything for you anyway. It's just pathetic. It's pointless. No, the Usos, they're still champions, but unless it's a championship match, they're going to lose at a pay-per-view. They might win, might find a way to win, but Reigns is going to be winning. Reigns ain't losing the Universal Championship anytime soon either. At this rate, you might as well have him hold the title for 2 years. Now, Survivor Series with The Rock, if you had him come back, he teased a match at WrestleMania. But then you don't have The Rock beat Reigns. You have Reigns go over. Because Reigns is the top dog. Okay, and we'll get more into Roman Reigns here in a minute. But, yeah, the Usos did lose. RK Bro defeated Jimmy and Jey Uso by pinfall last night in the tag team Survivor Series matchup. Champion versus champion with the Raw and SmackDown tag team champions, respectively. That was in between the two 5-5 Survivor Series matches, actually, as well. And then after that, they had the main event. After that was the main event with the WWE Champion Big E and the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And Reigns got an early advantage. I'm sure this match was back and forth as well. And probably your typical finish with, you know, some Superman punches and spears. You know, Big E probably hit a few, what do they call them? Big E, Bailey does them too. Belly to belly suplexes, yeah. Samoan drop, okay. Reigns hit a rock bottom on Big E, okay, ode to The Rock. And then I bet you any money people were probably hammering for him to come out, chanting, you know, we want Rock or Rocky or something along those lines. And of course, it doesn't look like he should, and he didn't. Yeah, okay. And Reigns closed the show out with a win, defeating Big E via pinfall. So, Raw wins both Survivor Series 5-5 men's and women's elimination matches. But at the end of the show, with Roman Reigns once again main eventing, the big dog who sits at the head of the table our tribal chief, who we should all acknowledge, who is now king of the WWE, our WWE Universal Champion, who is still WWE Universal Champion after Survivor Series. Roman Reigns with the win to close out Survivor Series, defeating Big E in what says about a 20-minute match. The longest match of the night was the men's 5-5 elimination matchup, about a half hour. And I'm sure, of course, they had, a promo or two for Raw and NXT and SmackDown and, WWE Shop and, the live events with all the TVs and the house shows and, the upcoming WWE Day 1 pay-per-view on January the 1st and, so on and so forth. But I guess from, what I saw and, from what I read, in the end, it was an alright pay-per-view. Nothing spectacular, it seems like. I mean, still a good show, though. And you got to respect that for what it's worth. So, yeah, that's where we're at. It's just if only, the product could get a little bit better from now until the end of the year, into the new year. Of course, WWE 1, Royal Rumble, on the road to WrestleMania, and then also WrestleMania 38 before, what are you doing, buddy? What's wrong? Talk about the big dog Roman Reigns. Big dog is right beside me. What's wrong, buddy? Huh? You all right? Yeah. I don't even know what I was saying now. You okay? Huh? You all right? You're all right. Come here. What's up? What's wrong? You're okay. It's all right. Yeah. Okay. That was unexpected. But we move on. But yeah, if only the product could get better, because we're gonna be coming up, of course, on the new year here sooner than you think. Be here before you know it. Hell, it's already Thanksgiving, Christmas a month from then New Year's, and then on the road to WrestleMania. We'll see who wins Royal Rumble. We'll see how the Day 1 pay-per-view goes. I have no idea how that'll go because it's the first of its kind. They've never really had a pay-per-view on New Year's Day. They've had a New Year's show before, but I don't believe it's ever been on New Year's Day. It's been around New Year's, like whatever the first Sunday would have been, or the second Sunday for scheduling wise. The road to WrestleMania with a Royal Rumble, and we get to WrestleMania 38. Reigns is going to be main eventing that show. This is main event Survivor Series. Who's he going to be facing? I don't know. But whoever he does, he needs to beat, not unless it's somebody that, they just cut how many people, so, and they really don't have anybody left. I mean, they do, but they don't, but it's like, they need to be more realistic, do shit that keeps people on the edge of their seat, not knowing what the hell is coming. And don't roll out rematch after rematch after rematch every single week for like 3 months, if not longer, straight. So, yeah, until then, it's just hard to watch, but yet for some reason, and they know we're still going to watch, we still watch it. We enjoy it that much, I guess. And it is what it is, and, nothing really we can do about it. We can sit here and watch and bitch and complain about it all we want, but in the end, they're still going to do what they want to do. It's their company, and we got to live with it. Really, as Frankie Monet, Taya Valkyrie, had said after she was released, and then her husband also released, and John Morrison, as of late, and I've said it as of late too, and I always just refer back to CM Punk's pipe bomb interview. The only way they're going to learn and figure out that we don't care anymore is if we quit watching. That's when they'll figure out that, okay, we got to change. Yet they say they're going to change all the damn time, yet they continue to do the same old shit. But for some reason, we continue to still tune into this same old shit. So I'm not saying to quit watching, because I sure as hell ain't going to be quit watching. I'll be watching it. I'll be watching WWE. I'll be watching AEW. I'll be watching pro wrestling as I've been watching pro wrestling all my life. Like, okay, every once in a while I might miss a show or two, but then it's not that hard to get caught back up with it. Like, you still know what the hell's going on. Like, I would consider myself a diehard fan compared to, somebody who only watches every once in a while. But even if you still only watched every once in a while anymore, it still wouldn't be that hard to figure out, okay, this is this person, this is so on and so forth, this is so and so, and we're going to go from here to there, and if you have a question, okay, ask it. Somebody will tell you. Whether it's me or somebody, somebody will step up to the plate, so to speak, and give their 2 cents on this or that. And it's just still in the end, when with the releases, they make record profit once again, and then release half the company. It seems like it's like there's no room for it, but at the same time, like, and you never want to see anybody lose their job, but if they feel you're not contributing, it's that next man up mentality. They don't care. They're going to get rid of you. They'll find somebody to take your spot. Life's going to go on for them and you. And whether there's remorse on or a grudge on either side, what can you do, So I guess there's not really much else to be said other than I wish I was still watching Survivor Series right now. But I don't even know how long it's been since it went out. But yeah, I'm still looking at a black screen on the WWE Network on Peacock, as you're right now looking at as well, live right here on YouTube with audio only, live watch only reactions to the Survivor Series on a delay from last night. But yeah, I guess it seemed like Survivor Series is a good show. I'm at some point in time going to have to actually sit down and watch it from start to finish. And of course, I won't be doing any reactions to it then at that point, because this is going to be the stream for it, and it'll still count on my end. It will. And hopefully you'll tune in for more live watch along reactions live right here on the channel as well. All I do is hit the red subscribe button, notification bell next to it as well. And I'm sure at some point in time, once I do watch it, I might talk about it more. I'm sure I will, at least during a WWE show. I always try to, because it's college football, or the NFL, or pro wrestling, keep everything separate. Now tonight, at the start, before we got underway with the Survivor Series, I wanted to, because yesterday at least I didn't recap college football from this past weekend. I did yesterday with the NFL and preview next week as well, and I still do that tonight. But we don't have that much more football left this season. We're almost towards the end of the college football season, with the regular season at least, conference championship games and bowl season about to begin, and then we're about halfway past midway point now, I should say, past the we're week 11. There's 18 weeks, so do the math. Yeah, we're past halfway point in this NFL regular season, and the playoffs will be here before we know it. and then football season's going to be over with. And then, off season wise for myself, for football, it's pro wrestling from January to August, more so than not like February, March to August. But I'll digress. And then, roll back around full circle, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, WWE Survivor Series in the books. I'll watch it eventually. Don't know when. But unfortunately, sorry, could not finish watching it. Technical difficulties. And I'll leave it at that. There's not really much else to be said. So, hope to see everybody next week for more live watch along reactions in college football and the NFL as well. On Thursday, Saturday, next Sunday, and potentially next Monday night with WWE Night Raw. So maybe then I'll talk more about Survivor Series once I get up to date, catch up with what's going on right now. And of course, this upcoming week and into the final month of the year before the next pay-per-view, with no December pay-per-view for the first time in quite a while. They're going to hold off, breathe a little bit, give it some room, and have their next pay-per-view on January the 1st. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure they're going to try to go all out for it. It seems, once again, to me, it's every other pay-per-view is good. Okay, back to touring. Money in the Bank was good. SummerSlam was good. Those are back-to-back, but then it was SummerSlam to Crown Jewel, and now day one with Extreme Rules and Survivor Series in the middle. Still good shows, and I get not every show is going to be as good as the last. Might be as good, but okay, if not better, but for the most part, probably not. Everything's for the most part average as it is anymore. But yeah, I'm thinking right now, make day one out to be, maybe one of those big 4, big 5, even big 6 pay-per-views with as many big pay-per-views as they have now. It's, of course, WrestleMania, it's SummerSlam, it's the Royal Rumble, it's Money in the Bank for me before Survivor Series, then Survivor Series, and then probably day one. So there's 6 pay-per-views. Plus you add in everything else that they do throughout the year and have that factor into the fold, and you get what you get, and they're doing what they're doing, and we're watching what they're doing, and we got to live with it because they're going to do what they want in the end anyway. So yeah, that's just how it is, and we'll move on whether we're liking it or not, and we'll be watching it for the most part, probably whether we're liking it or not too. So yeah, there's not really much else to be said other than say thanks for tuning in and listening. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cohan Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. The link's in the description below, the thumbs up button. Hopefully you'll tune in for more live watch-along reactions live here on YouTube, college football, the NFL, and professional wrestling. And Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte Flair to kick off Survivor Series, and Roman Reigns closed the show out with a win over Big E to end Survivor Series tonight. Well, actually last night, watching on delay once again here. So everybody who was champion, still champion. Nothing really major happened. We'll see what the hell does happen, though, from now until January 1st for the next pay-per-view on Raw and SmackDown, respectively. But, yeah, the 2 best matches of the night, I'd say, from watching and reading because of technical difficulties, would have had to have been the Raw Women's and SmackDown Women's Champion match with Becky Lynch defeating Charlotte Flair, and the WWE and WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship match at Survivor Series with Big E and Roman Reigns, as the man, Big Time Bex, defeats Charlotte and the big dog, head of the table, who we should all acknowledge, who is king of the WWE, our Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, with Paul Heyman by his side in the bloodline with Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. Roman Reigns, mains event, another WWE pay-per-view, and closes it out with another W in the win column. So, Reigns, the king, he's also the head of the table. He sits by himself on the island of relevancy. Roman Reigns, the big dog, head of the table, who we should all acknowledge, who is now king, is still WWE Universal Champion following WWE Survivor Series. So, good show for what it was worth from what I saw and read, but I'll fill you in more at some point in time later on down the road. So say once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. As always, I'm your host of Encyclopedia Sports, Cohen Luke at 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below, and hope to see everybody at some point in time for more live watch along reactions live or here on the YouTube channel, whether it be college football, the NFL, or professional wrestling. Always greatly appreciated for the support. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below.